you should be seeing us on YouTube if you follow the link, or if you check the earnings season YouTube page. And you should be hearing me, Randy, and in a moment you'll hear Danhai. He's also hosting this with me in the Twitter space. Good evening, and good evening, and good evening, everybody. Danhai, you good? You here? All right, guys, hold on. If you're hearing me, just give me one moment while we start. Oh.
Have attended Grow this Monday, but I didn't get a chance to because I had some family gatherings. And I think January 29th is the next one, so I definitely will be there.
That is true. January 29th is the next one. So we'll be more than happy to have you.
Yeah, man, not a problem. And I see the Spur Tree is closed is now closed. I know some people are not gonna get. Well, we never expect to get all of that we would have applied for. So let's hope we can get some in the secondary market. I, and if you notice, there's some work by the brokers. The brokers need to do some work. The platform was not the easiest thing to maneuver. So as I said to one stockbroker, if you are planning to develop a software or IPO platform, these are these are the lessons that you have to take into consideration. You can't come and mirror what e-invest or go IPO or anything of those have done, because JMB has a platform that's only used by its clients. But whenever I use it, I have to ask my wife, have I applied yet? Because it is so smooth and efficient that it almost feels as if you haven't done anything. And
What's that?
the JMB money line, yeah,
Okay.
whenever I use it to apply for IPOs, it's smooth sailing. I don't think it takes
before Danhai and I start talking.
Indeed.
Before Danhai and I start talking. There.
Indeed.
I hear a huge.
YouTube is back.
YouTube is back, yeah. Before Danhai. So YouTube is back and great. YouTube. You need to mute the YouTube though, Danhai, because I
just
got
YouTube is back. Yeah, just mute it.
Okay, perfect. Again, evening. If you're listening to us on YouTube, welcome. You didn't miss much other than Alric's comments, and Alric touched a lot of things. Alric, who was the same person who joined us early last week, touched a lot of points that, of course, find very, very interesting. So don't worry if you're on YouTube, you didn't miss anything. We're about to begin. And in 2022, we will sort out this sound thing to have it run a whole lot smoother, I assure you. It would be really nice if Twitter Spaces allow that sort of automatic tying, but beggars can't be choosers, right? So, having said all that, welcome everybody. We're gonna have a nice, quick talk. I believe you should definitely be hearing me. I'm seeing comments on YouTube saying no sound, but I believe you should be able to hear me now on YouTube because I'm seeing the sound icons on YouTube moving. Of course, Twitter kicked Danhai off the space.
Yeah, can hear on YouTube.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And I see, as told by Neela. Neela, how are you? Good evening. I think Neela is here, but she's not getting in at all. All right, I'll go with Nevo. Newo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Newo. Evening. How are you? Or real Newo? Newo, can you hear us? If you are speaking, by the way, Newo, you need to unmute. Strange. Somebody else is there. All right. Well, I won't wait. I won't wait very long. We'll start the talk, Danhai, you are hearing me fine, right? If you're talking, Danhai, you need to unmute. I guess Danhai is not hearing me at all. Guys, give us one moment, please. All right, I just kicked Danhai off. I'm bringing back in, and you should be able to hear me properly now, Danhai, right? Can you hear me? Well, it's showing you as co-host, but you are muted.
All right, better. Okay, so Twitter was fighting me.
Wow.
Yeah.
This stuff is annoying, boy. Okay, welcome again. Almost Happy New Year. How are you doing?
Everything good. It was a great year. Boy, ups and downs, but I think my ups won this year.
Yeah, that's the secret is to do it every single year. I gather. All right.
That's the plan.
Yeah. You're big. Wow, for you, it really has been a hell of a year.
Indeed. Boy.
And you're ending it in fine style. What were you just about to say? Sorry, what were you just about to say?
I was thinking about it. Yeah, that's pretty strong here. Yeah. Not much to complain about, and that's crazy coming. Oh, that's a lie. I have a good amount to complain about, but I just have a lot of good that happened. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's beat the complaints. It's always good to have stuff we can beat the complaints with.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, market talk. Where do we begin? I wanted people listen. If you're listening, it's an opportunity to ask us questions again. And let me give the weekly disclaimer. Let me give the weekly disclaimer that we are not giving investment advice. I'm definitely not an investment advisor. Danhai is a licensed investment advisor, but this is not part of his investment advisory service. This is just us having a conversation about the market. So do not take the things, and we talk about companies because we care about the market. We're interested in the market. We speak about the things we care about, but do not take the things we say as investment advice. If you want to have a proper advisory session, link Danhai. He will do a great session for you. It has been the response. I mean, I know the response I see from people who grow, which is my class teaching people how to invest on their own. And I see that same quality and strength of response in the people who have gone to Danhai for an investment advisory session. If I can share a story in some way, Danhai. I've heard literally one possibly bad thing about an investment session with you, and I was so interested in hearing it because we're never going to get everything 100%, right? Somebody will always have a problem, no matter what you do good. Somebody will always have a problem. So I because I heard it and I wanted to see what could be wrong, and I spoke to the person, and they're very open and told me what went wrong. And it was around, them used to think of investing a certain way, and they come to you. In my view, this is my view of it. So don't take it. This is not what they were saying. I'm just kind of interpreting. And in my view, what I think it is that they had a certain view of investing, and they come to you with that view of investing in mine already, and then decide and say, "Oh, what you're going to tell them must match that." So I said, "Well, if you don't mind, share with me what I'm sharing with you," and they shared it with me. And I created the portfolio for them. And I said, "Did you actually do it?" He said, "Well, I kind of, and it never worked." I said, "Okay." And I showed them the portfolio on My Money JA, which is also our sponsor or sponsor for this Brick Talk, the market information site. If you don't have an account here, go and set up an account. It is an amazing website. I am biased in telling you that, but it is an amazing website,
Cool,
right? And I set up the portfolio and I showed them. And it was at that point that they realized that, if they had actually listened to what you told them, they would be up in the few months since they'd done the session, they'd be up a little over 13%. And then all of a sudden, well, I guess no, that's not the problem. And it turns out there really was no problem. They just really hadn't done what you told them. And if that, as I've said to you here, I've said publicly and I've said privately, if your worst feedback is that you helped somebody to make money, but they never listen, then you have a goddamn good thing going, a very good thing going. And that's my ad for both My Money JA and Danhai Service and my own Grow investment course. So if you guys interested in any of those three, either getting an actual investment advisor, the best one I know is on that side of the screen. Interested in tracking your investments, paying attention to the stock market, the greatest tool I know is below us on the screen on YouTube. And if you want to learn how to do it yourself, learn the methods that I use, the greatest investment class that I know is done by me every month. The next one being, as I said at the start, January 29th of this month. But with all that said, I'm sure you guys have questions or comments around the market, and we are more than ready for them. So if you send a speaking request, I will approve it and we'll talk and get into the points. And of course, I see Sir Phil, the man who loved the market the most, I believe.
Yeah, I agree.
said a request. Sir Phil, how you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Phil,
Happy New Year when it comes. Brickman.
Same to you,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Same
Happy New
to
Year
you.
when it comes.
Yeah, man.
So Phil, how's your year in investing?
Boy, I can't complain. Lots of growth, lots of lessons learned, and
Always.
and very good gains. I wouldn't say excellent. You know, sometimes I am my worst enemy, but you know how that go.
Yeah, I certainly know how that goes.
Yes, agreed.
Lessons are very important as well. So, looking forward to 2022.
Mhm.
Looking
All right.
forward to
Well,
I tell you, if it's one thing the market does is teach.
definitely.
yes, yes. Every single day.
No matter how you
Teaches
get
you.
it right, you get it wrong, you learn something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel, of course, we're not into the esoteric, oh, this is a good thing, one to watch kind of talk. We're very,
I
very
was just
realistic. So,
I was just thinking about that. Like, what I said to myself, the new year.
Mhm.
So if I'm going to sit now, is watch lists coming out, stocks to watch for 2022, or you should be watching this. And in my head, I thought that's one of the most useless pieces of information somebody can put out, because
Yeah,
useless and dangerous.
yes, one to
dangerous.
watch really often means what I'm watching, and I'm telling everybody to watch it too. But the problem is, I'm not telling them what to watch for. So it gives me no basis of any investment. I could have watched CPJ all year, this year, and watch it when it make me no money. If I didn't know the point that we should buy into CPJ, because I don't know what to watch for, then you have a problem, right? And I find that, so really it's a personal thing. I can't tell you what's my watch list. I can tell you probably because you know you're more in the know, but somebody that not really looking at it from this, and if you're supposed to tell you a stock are watching, and you just gonna ask why you watching it for, maybe watching it for two different reasons or something like that, right? So I would say really, I would love to see the market move away from that type of thing, the one to watch thing, because it either brings somebody into it, investing into the thing because they think watching means they should buy it, or they never invest because they're not really sure what they're watching for. Yeah.
That's a fact. So with that said, and you mentioned a nice one there, CPJ. I was going to ask Phil which stock I think he was most excited about this year, but you then I already got touch CPJ, which I had to look on the price. It ended today at 1304. What a run!
Yeah.
Huge
My
run.
God, what a run! 505% growth in 1 year in the middle of a pandemic.
CPJ is a funny thing to me though, because watching it at the start of this year, and my initial buy was, if I just sink my money there, if I bought only CPJ this year, the amount of money I'd have now would be crazy. So it's a funny thing to say. All right, cool. When I bought in, thinking Jano, it really cements it's really cements certain things in place. Like, like if that was the plan from jump. So I was looking at the things I was looking at, whatever, the things that I missed on, the things that never move as much as CPJ and that type of thing. If I just bought only CPJ from way back way, because my initial price is crazy. If everything else was at that, if I just say every single money I get, I just throw it at CPJ, even when it rising, imagine. Yeah. So
Big facts. Wow.
but this is again, I said before, it's a
Pretty
lesson thing. It's market always teaches. So definitely a lesson there, and more than one in my opinion. I got quite a lot from that. But not to say, trust me, the market was really good over the year. Truly, you know, even half of that. But I make money in something else and fling it back on CPJ, that type of thing. It depends on how you really go about it. But crazy year, and CPJ indeed had a crazy year. I remember speaking to people about it very early, before it was a point of recommendation, because you know the type of risk going in at that point way back when. But just speaking to people about it early and whatever, and the reaction, the things they heard from people then versus now when we start talking about it, pushing more about it, talking about it more to the market, then you can see the shift in just the way people are treating it. Boy, if you bought CPJ when I just started in May, and you look at the first thing people will go up and look at this thing there is the chart and say, boy, but CPJ not doing well, and boy, tourism looking whatever. Imagine that talk at that time versus
well, you have to imagine a lot of that a lot of that did happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't
A
trust
lot
me.
of that did happen.
I know a couple clients say, oh, give me something risky. And I say, all right. And I said, all right. And I throw that out there. And then someone said, back too risky. And I said, but then look at us now.
Yeah. How do you handle that? How you handle you as an advisor now? You're wrapping up your first calendar year at least of advising. How do you handle the people who come to you because they know you know better?
Mm-hmm.
They think you know better, but you have to pay you for your better expertise. And then when you tell them the thing, them decide now.
The
Them
best
know
I
better
can
than
do
you.
is explain. But so I've found that people have, because I know them feel about a stock or feel about a company, there's a point where I'm not changing your mind. So I have to say, all right, either if we're going to limit the options, because that's true what's happening. If I have 50 stocks and you decide that you're not going to go into that one no matter what happens, then your available investments are 49 now. You have less than everybody else on the market. You have less opportunities than everybody else on the market because you block yourself from that one. So I have to just explain. If I cannot find something that's comparable, meaning your timeline that you're going for, the return you're going for, if the one you exclude was the only one I consider doing that, I'm playing it straight up. Well, the goal kind of looking impossible or looking unrealistic to me with that in mind. So if you're not going to that, then we kind of have to say, all right, we have to go back to the goal and we have to find something else that works for you. What most likely happen, either to lengthen your timeline or drop the thing there, the amount of returns you are looking for. Because if I investing in what you see, if I only see that one stock and you're not going to buy that one stock, then there's not much I can do at that point. So I have to say, all right, something have to change, and I have to find something. Otherwise, if we're going to find something, we have to find something that's cool. It's a hope thing, and you know how we work around that. Hope. Hope doesn't make it.
It's not a strategy.
Yeah,
hope is not a strategy. I like. Oh, you pointed that out, that you explain. I think I saw a lot of the same thing myself this year when I started really just to think about growth differently. I think probably this year, 2 years into doing it, a little over 2 years into doing it, this would be the year when, especially in the latter half of the year, I started really to think of it as a product that I'm doing for people that are. I mean, I always try to ensure people get value. Anybody who's done grow know the heavy value that goes into it. But if I'm trying to help the typical investor, I try to carry them through a specific journey. How would I carry them through it? And boy, a lot of the same thing, a lot of the explaining of not, and having them understand that, somebody just telling you one time one thing is definitely not teaching you to fish. They're giving you a wonderful fish and they told you where they caught it. And it make you feel good, and you cook it and you're sure you know about it, and you can't repeat it. And you might say a similar looking fish or a similar looking spot later on, and you're looking to do the same thing and you realize you can't do it. And I just really started to change it. And I see the effect in the people that have been doing it. And then advance grow as a thing on top of it. My God. Like that, it's hard. It's always hard for me to determine how good it is because I'm the one doing it, and I'm very hard on myself. So I usually don't think it's very good, but the response has been strong from the people who have done it, and their portfolios have seen the benefit from it. So I think it's been a good year there. But let me not just talk about the stuff we do there. Let's talk about the market. And Phil, since you're still on, we'll ask you, which stock has been your most appreciate, which stock you love the most this year? So not necessarily the one that making the most money, but which stock have you liked the most this year?
What I said I like the most, just from actually looking at the company and of course stock price appreciation, it would be Dolphin Cove. I was going to say Grace Kennedy, but Dolphin Cove, the things happening around it, and looking at their numbers, their historical numbers, it's just very interesting to see the potential that they have partially fulfilled, obviously, and then going forward next year, I'm expecting a lot of much better numbers to be put up because they are because they've become more efficient
Mhm.
and are putting up the kind of net profit that they were putting up when they had, their gross or their net profit margins were almost half of what they are now.
Yeah, they've got I said in the Grow God group that the pandemic, the thing that we all know, the pandemic caused, just like people, it caused companies to either strong companies show their strength, weaker companies, a lot of them felt the pain from it, and the companies that were kind of in the middle, this is the chance where everybody got the opportunity to readapt, to rework themselves, and come out of it likely stronger. I think now we're seeing these companies, especially the ones on the front line of being affected by the pandemic, like the tourism companies, like Dolphin Cove. I think it would appear, at least based on these numbers that we're seeing, that they have really taken on the chance to rework themselves and come out stronger. At the end of September, the profit 2.1 mil, and that's US dollars. Already their profit in 20 year to date for this year, so we still have 1 quarter to go. It's higher than it was. I mean, last year was a loss, but it's also higher than it was in 2019, which was a great year for tourism. It was a record year for tourism.
Right.
Year to date, and they have a loss on the books for one of the quarters we're looking at for the year to date. So the first quarter in this year was a loss quarter. The last two was very profitable, and that level of profit is bringing them to where it's bringing them to that. So to the year to date, one quarter left to report for the rest of for this year. A lost quarter in there, and overall they are doing better than they were doing pre-pandemic. That's crazy to me. On way less revenue, as thing they were saying.
On significantly less revenue, less than half of the revenue of 2019.
Exactly.
2019's full year revenue was 14.8 million US. Current revenue is 5.4 million US, and out of that figure, they've pulled 2.1 million worth of profit. Those margins have been reworked and revamped. And even this 2.1
fix up.
Yeah, even this 2.1 is a very, very recent fix, because it's 2.1 mil profit that they have year to date. Roughly half of it happened between July and September of this year.
Madness.
Yeah. Those of you who got even deeper into what the company has said, those of you who go deeper into what the company has said, would know that it would appear at least that this profit was really made in maybe the last half or the last month of the quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in terms of excitement, Dolphin Cove, I can see why you'd really, really like that one, Phil.
That's in him again with what Alex said earlier about just don't limit your scope. You must look at everything, because you don't know where the next opportunity will come from. Think of just Dolphin Cove's view before all this. I didn't hear much talking about Dolphin Cove when we were just talking about the possible impact of Corona on our earnings season experience, and you mentioned Dolphin Cove. I'm sure it was the first time a lot of people knowing that Dolphin Cove listed, because when last I hear about that. So yeah, crazy times.
Crazy times. Yeah. It has had an up and down year. Started the year at 878, and it certainly felt the dips, but it is flying now, 1533. So $8.78 is what it started the year at, and it's up 74% for the year.
Crazy.
It solidifies that thing where I say, no company is bad forever, no company is good forever. The trick is in being able to determine what is bad and will become good, and what's good and will become bad. And the further ahead of time you're able to determine it, the better it is for you, or the better it can be for you. But Dolphin Cove, that's a good one. Thank you very much, Phil. So, Phil, on the flip side, what would you say has been your worst stock or your biggest lesson from the year then? Again, it don't mean the one that you may have lost the most on or whatever, but what has it been for you?
Well, in terms of a lesson, interestingly enough, it would have been CPJ.
Really?
Because
All right.
Lots of lessons because of going in and out of it, and I missed some of the running, some of the run up. I mean, I'm in it now heavily, but I so like now my average price is $7 something, but
Okay.
a lot of that I bought. I mean, I was out of CPJ for a long time, and then and then eventually, like around $5, I sat in it, and it kind of was stagnating. And it's just a matter of patience and believing in the things that you research, and that you and always going back to why you bought the stock.
Okay.
When you're trying to make a decision.
Yes.
Trusting your
think-
decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, in him again, that word stagnating. It's always it's a review of past information. So you look at this week, and boy, you know, really move much this week. My goal for it is 3 months away. You know, really move much. Have a good amount of money. I can put more into it, but boy, it's not moving much now. So for some reason, I decide that I shouldn't be buying any more of this thing because it stopped moving. Like, why do you always want to be chasing the stock, basically?
Right,
Like,
right. That's a discipline.
Yeah.
I learned
I think.
discipline.
Oh, trust me, I see it a lot. Just advisory and everything. People feel like so a year away is a timeline, but boy, this don't move much yet in the last 3 months. Like, you're getting some more money down. You can average down. If it drop, you can buy some more. Even if it gone up, and you know that your target price is way higher than whatever. Why you worry that, boy? It's not like it's next week you need the money, or it's not at a point where you should be panicking.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very often the thing is, Randy said I think earlier. Very often the thing you should be buying is the same stock you left before, or the same stock you've been buying the whole time.
Yep. Very, very true.
Yeah. That I think is a strong lesson also. So thank you for that, Phil. It's two boy. So your best stock, your favorite stock for the year, Dolphin Cove, which hasn't really risen as much as it didn't even rise as much as CPJ. I guess CPJ rise up. CPJ's rise was
up
300 and something %.
300, yeah, something, I think.
Yeah. And no, not 300. Not 300. CPJ really started the year way down. I think 503 or something like that. It started at 2. Wow. I mean, geez, you're wet. Started the year at 258.
Yeah, 258.
258.
Wow.
Yeah. Woo. 505%. It's like it's such a large number that I keep forgetting. 505% growth within the year. For the people who do grow, you understand what I say. Nobody can really tell you how much you can make, or how much you can make within a year. Right? No, of course, I would not tell anybody to go, especially not a beginner, to go out and expect to make 500% in a year. But as you can see, it's there. Yeah, it's there. It's done. And there are people who have done it and made that and more. And I think for me, one of the good reminders that I got this year was around CPJ was around a lot of times people thought, every time somebody asks me about something, you get asked about the stock when it becomes known and popular now. And the usual thinking is, well, boy, I did for buy, but I miss it, right? We did for buy, but we miss it. It's too late now. That's a popular one. It's too late now. All the time I hear that. The people who might have looked at CPJ at 258 when it was at $5, when it hit 516, 100 at this point in the middle of July, it is 100% gain from the start of the year till now. 100% gain.
Yep.
You know, much times in July and August and September here, boy, I really like it, but it's too late now, I miss it. You know, much times in October and November, especially after that the final year report, the Q4 was wrapped up. You know, many times after that, people, boy, maybe for buy, but it spiked already, so it missed me.
Yeah.
And I just have to keep reminding that that's not how the market works. That's not how
It's
stocks work. That's not how
exactly.
investing works. Right? There's always something else coming. There's always more. You buy it now. You buy stocks now for where you expect them to be, not where they are.
Yeah, and where you expect it to be should not be based on where it's coming from, because it can show somebody NCB at 70. You can show at the 70 point they were showing them at 40. It don't work at all. So where you're coming from don't mean say because a large gain doesn't mean there isn't a large. At 100%, CPJ have 400% more to go.
Yes, geez, imagine that. And then of course the common question you get asked, so you think it can go more? And that's when you start having to be even more aware and go, yeah. For me, that's one of the reminders also in people like Danhai can tell you, Phil probably can tell you, anybody who's spoken to me for a while can tell you, it is sometimes annoying talking to me about stocks because you ask me something and he can tell me and no, I'm not telling you. And sometimes I do know and can tell you, and sometimes I don't know, but you think I know. But in almost every case where that's happening, it's what you want me to say. If I were to say, you're going to take it and mean something completely different. And that's why I say, like, one to watch, stuff like that, one of the most dangerous things, because I'm not always going to be there to tell you, say, oh, CPJ was great, and I think CPJ is worth maybe $20, $25. But it went all the way up to $40. I'm being hypothetical here in case anybody is confused. When it got all the way up to $40, you did buy it because Randy did say, he never tell you not to do it, Randy did tell you. And then when it dropped, come down, no, I'm not going to know that you did it or remember to come and find you and tell you, say, oh, I thought it was worth 25. So when it hit 30, I got out, right? Instead, you're going to hear me and then I talking on the space, talking about, oh, yeah, man, CPJ, I thought it was worth 25. When it hit 30, I got out. And then, so I wasn't surprised when it fell all the way back down to 17. But you hear there, you go, can you imagine that? And they never tell me. I just learned that the people is what people like to tell me ahead of time. But being responsible with what you say, I don't think they realize the amount of responsibility I've always put into what I say. Because what you want to hear is not what we say. And it was just a strong reminder for me in the year. And our reminder, when I talk about it for a while, was I can talk about it now. The just a reminder of what the market is. And one reminder of my own growth, of where I'm coming from to where I am now and where I'd like to go. And the fact that there are people behind you, there are people where you are, and there are people ahead of you, boy. People ahead of you. That was certainly cemented for me this year. Carib Cement gave us a hell of a run. Start the year at 62.81. I think it peaked at 146. Traded as high as 146.12. $146.12. 81 or 18. Yeah, 62.81 is what it started the year at. And that 232% growth, right? If somebody bought it, then they're looking on 132% profit, all within 1 year. I mean, this thing flew. And that would be when it hit the peak. That's around mid to late October. And then in late November, we got a reminder of the levels and layers of the market, boy, in one swift go.
Boom.
I mean, November 17, $103 per share. November 18, $86 per share. November 19, $74 per share. Coming from 140 odd. This thing lost a good 50% of its high in 3 days.
Imagine. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. It's just a reminder. And then you saw a lot more tweets, comments around it. Chris Berry, the largest local shareholder in Carib Cement, pointing out something that we've spoken about before, but I think this was a good event to get people seeing the reality of what the market is and the reality of what shareholder power is. And the options you have as a shareholder, good, bad, or ugly, right? The options you have as a shareholder, where sometimes the only way you can register your discontent is to get out. Yeah, and if you're big enough, getting out can cause something like this. Yeah. So this was, for me, a year of the reminders of there are bigger people in the market and they carry power, boy.
I think that ties back well into your previous point about what people hear from you versus people really want to hear about the market in a way that isn't uncertain. So they expect that you have no uncertainty around the market. So you know, as far as you're concerned, you have a map and this need to go so, need to go so. And if it don't go so, then Randy's a liar. It don't work like that. Things can happen. We expect things to happen. And they invest with that basis. And that's how you go. You don't control what the other guy does when him sell and him buy. You don't control what everybody else in the market. And you buy a stock at $2 and you say you think it's worth $5. And you buy the expectation that it's going to $5. What you're really saying is somebody else can buy it at $5 sometime on the line. And people be buying it at $5 down that line. You don't have everybody pocket and say, all right, cool, you take away your phone and got time to buy at $5. You don't work like that, right? People come in and they buy based on whatever reason they have to buy. If the people don't come, and it's not doing right, it's not doing what I expected to do. It might take longer, or it might just not happen. Look at Jamie and me talking earlier this year. I was a very big fan, expected a lot. Because I was saying, boy, all right, so move out of the pandemic phase. I see trading happening, start come back heavy. Sagicor making them some good money. Them talking about acquisition, and them sound like them buybackish. I don't know. It's basically been stagnant all year. I lot of clients that were looking forward to JMB, and then at some point we had to get real and say, all right, we have our timelines coming, and JMB might not be the vehicle for us, so we have to move away from it. Simple as that.
Yeah, a good reminder there to just because, like, I know it's a grow at them and things we've said on the podcast many times before that. Don't confuse the company with the share price. Yeah, the company is not its share price. Yeah. Very, very few companies on the market earn from their share price. Very, very, very few companies on the market even give a damn about their share price. And I'll tell you this, in terms of the working day to day, very few of these companies even know what the share price is every day. The employees there, you buying and selling the company shares, don't give the company any money. So just learning, just having more people learn that and see the reality of that and understanding that, yes, you can give me all the reasons why something is good. As we have, the embodiment of that has been our running joke about Cygnus. Running joke about, no, go ahead, Danhai.
Imagine like Twitter people get up and say, we stage a thing there. Demonstration, we park up in front of Cygnus office and we say, and we vex about the share price and we cost. And then the Cygnus management look outside and say, but we've been doing everything right. You've been making, your company has been making so much money. We're not going to buy the shares up. We do the business that we say we're going to do. The business is going, business is doing well. The share price was not reflecting what you think the share price should reflect. And just so it go.
And the truth is, the share price is reflecting what the market thinks it should reflect.
Exactly.
Yeah, the share price is this year also seal that up. The market
every
is
time
never
you
wrong.
say, "Boy, I'm gonna buy some Cygnus that's 15 because of steal." There's a man say, "Who you buying it from?" You buy it from that guy that said, "Man, get out of Cygnus because 15 now do it for me again." Until everybody is saying, "I'm going to buy it at 30." And there's a guy saying 15 too cheap. Or if I say I only saying that 30. Until that's a general consensus of the market. Use a Buffett quote. The market is it's not a valuing machine, it's a voting machine. It's
exactly
where everybody end up deciding this is where the price is of all we're doing, everything meets up. The sellers and the buyers, as long as the consensus is there that this is where the general accepted price or we're doing the business that the company is, it's not going to happen. So
Exactly.
if depends how long you can say 15 is still for you and how long people who own the company go and say 15 is too little.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to wait. See there, wait. It
Yeah.
might not come actually. Imagine that. Imagine you wait around in signals until everything going well, the company, whatever. You're buying at 15, but again, the voting don't happen to move up to 30. And then something goes wrong with signals. And
Mhm.
then immediately, because you realize how fearful, a fear factor. Everything can be great for years and it don't move to the price. But the moment things go wrong,
Yep. The
then
moment one thing
ship
even
jump.
look like it going around.
Everybody jumping ship. I never get to 30 it was worth, but now we decided it's worth 15. Everybody says I'm no longer steal, whatever. That's a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we said last week, I think the Cygnus guys, I don't know if it's true. Again, it's just conjecture on our part. It's just I think I could see the strategy in the Cygnus guys putting out that news about the Puerto Rico buyout. Because with the Spur Tree IPO, with the possible Jamaica fiberglass IPO in a few weeks, maybe a month, who knows? With Massey coming very likely in a few weeks. I can some feedback. Sorry, I think it was Phil. Yeah, with Massey coming in a few weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if it started here in week 1 or week 2. I wouldn't be surprised if the prospectus came out then. If they even require prospectus, because they don't have to go the prospectus route. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. They really don't have to do that, and many companies I think are considering that just to. I gather that there seems to be. This is me trying to say the right thing the right way. There seems to be the question arises a lot about the process behind a lot of the market, a lot of the processes behind the market. Those of you who are in the space who could hear Alaric earlier when he started off, when he said that he thinks the JSC has a lot of improvements it can do. I would agree that there are lots of improvements everybody in the process can make. Not that there haven't been improvements. There's a lot that's good, yeah. But I think the improvements here. I think maybe I've seen a lot of people in the market with more finance experience in the market questioning some of the general processes, including around listing, right? To me, I said when I held the grow that focused on the Spur Tree IPO a few days back, I said that it looked to me based on this document, it would appear like Spur Tree was really supposed to list a long time ago. Right? Maybe they chose not to do it, or maybe the process took too long. Maybe, who knows, maybe something happened that caused a delay. I don't know that there's a very clear line of sight along the entire listing process that would allow any company to have a solid timeline. I think there's a lot of unknowns along certain parts of the process, and an unknown in one part of the process might, when it gets back to you, lead to you having to go back, and the delay can be long, right? The delay can be long.
So you go through multiple desks. If every desk is an unknown, or say even I know my desk, nothing still on my desk for more than 30 days. But Jano, based on the desk that reached before me, it can be 30 to 90 days. I just don't know. Anywhere in between then, I can't get a real timeline around when it's coming, if that's the point, if that's the case.
Yeah. Or you could change something and say something has to be done and doing your job, by the way. Yeah, you can be doing something and decide that this needs to be done better, and it's done, and so you send it back to be done better, but then the process has to be restarted.
Yeah.
Right, and then that means that's the 30 days there and the 30 days here, and if when you reach your desk, suppose you catch COVID, which a lot of people happen, right?
Yes,
or suppose,
indeed.
sorry, not COVID, just a bad flu that's going around.
Sinus. Everybody discovered the sinus problems.
But let's say that happens to you. Yeah, so I said all that to say that I believe that there are probably huge improvements that can be done to the entire listing process. And those of you who want to do more research can go into the things that are involved in that listing process. I think there can be some improvements there. And I don't remember how we got to that point from Cygnus, but we've always done this thing on tangents, right?
Yes.
I do think, the Massey listing, that was the point. I think the Cygnus guys may have, and I don't know for sure again, but I think I could see where it would be a good strategy to speak about the acquisition, because you need people to not think about rushing to sell your shares now if you choose to care. And Cygnus is one of the few companies that I do believe cared about their share price. Yeah, I think them care about them.
We know we're listed, and it can't. Yeah, and I don't know that the thing that, but there's only from their side. There's only so much they'll be willing to do, which I agree. From their perspective, it can't be the company that's saying, if their business becomes about their share price looking a certain way, then they can have some problems, right? So they do what they need to do, but at some point, if the market set, then the market set.
Yeah, and the market is never wrong.
Indeed.
And they would, I can see them being fearful. You know what would solidify to me if that there was a strategy? If them drop them Q2 results early.
Yes.
Yeah. If they drop it mid-January, that's a clear sign to me.
I'll get tweet say January might seem long on the market for some, because the amount of coming out of December, waiting on what's going on with every other listings, then whatever you're waiting in can start feeling like January. You might see the stagnation or it falling, it's kind of shaky. But yeah,
it take a good heart to hold throughout that fall, and I think a lot of Cygnus shareholders have had their hearts tested. Big up Troy, who we're always joking with. Troy for in here send a speaker because we always
Troy said Mr. Cygnus.
Yeah, Mr. Cygnus himself. But I think, if you have been in Cygnus' stock, you have to have a good heart. Can you imagine? You start the year and you get a nice spike at the start of the year. Look at that. A nice spike from the 16 to the 18, in the mid, right by the end of January, and then a wicked drop that you'd have to hug up, and it would stagnate. Every time it go up, it go down. Every time it go up, it go down. Every time it go up.
Every time we start
early September.
Time now.
Yeah. Can you imagine how good they would have felt when the full year report came out early September, and it spiked right along with that, right back up to 16, which 16 only seems great if you're not thinking about anybody who bought it at 17 or in the previous years, right?
Yeah,
and it dropped right back down. And then for the first quarter, where they put out strong first quarter results, and the market did not care, drop again and continue to drop. And I can see, that's why I say I think it might be a strategy, because if after you put out your strongest ever results to the market, the share price just continued to tumble. You realize that this report came out in the middle of November. Let me get that right. Their report came out, November 15. The share price started to fall, and they put out this news about Puerto Rico December 23rd. They don't have to report the second quarter until the middle of February, Valentine's Day. So I could see somebody there going, give the people something to hold on to, because Spurtree, Fiberglass, there's like a full list, a little private list of what I expect to list in 2022 and beyond. And it's a full list, and first quarter looks good. And for those in the know, Massey is a massive company, right? No matter how conservative you are, that is the sort of company that conservative people love. If you call yourself a value investor, value investors love Massey. Now, also, the people who I've found call themselves value investors, I know that the kind of people who love Massey and them love Cygnus also, right? I think for true value investors, Cygnus is a great company.
Yep.
But if you are a value investor that have a beat up heart at this point and you see this drop, you have to give them something to hold on to, because we might not give them any good news again until February 15th. So tell them about the buyout. Tell them about the buyout, please. Tell them about the buyout so them can have something to hold on to. And I hope they don't have like maybe a slight dip around any acquisition news of the Puerto Rico. So suppose in doing it, the results weren't as grand, like maybe a flat result or not as huge, because sometimes you have to do acquisition work or expansion work. There's initial costs. It might affect your bottom line at first, and then later on you see the results of it. But if I know that that might have to come, 'cause remember the guys in Cygnus know what's happening. Those guys are on top of their numbers. You have to give the people something to hold on to throughout that time, because it's, do I hold on to this thing I'm already in, Cygnus, or do I put it in Massey, which is a massive company and a massive opportunity, which may very well not go through the IPO process, which makes it even quicker, right? So it might be something the first or second week of January. I think we'd see something maybe the first or second week of January.
Yep.
And then
That's it.
you're a rush. I don't know how to do. I mean, listing by introduction could be done. They could list by introduction.
Do that.
What would that?
Imagine. I'd love to see that. Do that. I just want to see pre-split. That'd be very nice. It locks in more of an opportunity from that type of thing. People will react on our market locally. If they get a post-split massive, post-split is not a word. Post-split massive.
Post-split is a word.
I said split it. I said split it. A post-split massive. Not gonna get some of the hype you can get out of water. Get it before the split, then you find people pushing into it, and that can give more of a drive for the thing. Imagine something like GHL. GHL came and then split. That'd be a nice thing.
If GHL came to market, oh God, I'd be so. I'd be annoyed, depending on who I was in the finance space, because if they come and do exactly what GHL did, they've already done one thing different from what GHL did, and in my view, should have done. List it at the high price if you want, but just tell people that you're going to split it. That's all. Just tell them. Massey has gone one better. Massey gave you the date by which it's going to split. They tell you already how much it's splitting into and the date by which it's going to split.
Yes.
So you already know all the things. On the Jamaican market, that sends your share price up. You can get the 300% in a month if you do that. They've already done it. So I think people are at least I am not usually excited about those huge companies, those huge offers, unless it's priced the right way. But with all, it's already priced. If you want to go, you can just go on the trading market and see the price. It's already priced. You can multiply it by, you want to see the rate at any given time. You can see it on My Money JA, GHL. So as of today, Trinidadian to Jamaican is 22.93. So you can go on the Trinidadian Stock Exchange, see GHL's, not GHL's, see Massey's share price, multiply it by 22.93, and then consider what that is in Jamaican dollars, and then split it with the split that they told us they're going to do. Yeah. And, funny enough, it has been flying on the Jamaican on the Trinidadian market.
Yep.
Since I suspect it's Jamaicans. Yeah. Not even since the split announcement, because the split announcement happened, and it seems like nobody paid attention. And then more happened. I think it started to get more popular. I think the Jamaicans got into it.
It moves. A report I saw said the movement happened. The movement came shortly after announcement of the crosses thing.
I don't think that's true, because that announcement is quite old. Yeah. Yeah, I think the movement just happened now when it has percolated through the spaces that it should.
How much more? So
it's at $105 at the end of the year. Oh, okay.
So there was some movement when it said way back. Well, not significant, yes. 30 something, I think it was the number. And then now we can see it's moving again. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and more I've heard people say they have some people with access to the Trinidad market say they're buying some Massey. So
yeah, well, here's the thing. So I've also heard it said that Trinidadian investors are buying stocks heavily on the local market because of the opportunity to sell the shares exchange rate, get US dollars in Jamaica, which is easy to do in Jamaica compared to Trinidad, right? Thanks to our stronger banking system and overall betterness. But if you have been doing that and you know for a fact that Massey, which you would know in Trinidad as a household name, you know for a fact that Massey is coming to the Jamaican market, Of course, I'm gonna start sitting there because a lot of times when I first heard that thing about Trinidadians doing the buy on the local market to get the USD out, my initial thought was, "Are you sure?" Because a lot of these sales, like let's say doing for JMB, I'm like the share price is falling. But then the answer that I've been given and I've seen and I can take some acceptance of is that to the person doing it, they're willing to take a little bit of a haircut on the share price because what they really want is the US dollars,
US dollars.
right? Yeah. And so I can say like a business person going, yo, I will take a 5, 6, maybe even a 10% hit on the US dollar because in my home country, Trinidad, it might cost me 15 or 20% more to get US dollars, and I still have to wait however long until I'm approved and there's a quota, right? So I could see that sort of decision. You see how investing is different for the people who are sitting in different roles.
I can see, yeah, because what they call a profit isn't okay. We call loss. Because I know how much money I make when I do my business through my US dollar thing. So I don't calculate how much of a loss I can take by doing this transfer to Jamaican market, blah blah blah. I think that's within my reason. That's within my loss because I know how much money I make when I can buy my, say, I'm a body manufacturing company. I need to buy whatever. I buy it from the US. Then I don't need the USD. They're not going to take my transfer that the moment I start out my business dead. So makes sense. And I can see like the banks. Like imagine JMB in both countries can be with I go to my bank, say JMB as a Trinidad businessman, and them say, all right, cool, you need USD. We can't really do the government situation right now. So here's what we do. Buy some shares, do what you need to do, and we get the USD. We do the Cambio transaction over there. We make some nice money from that situation. So and you get your problem solved.
Yeah, I could see that. But then of course, if I'm doing that at a loss and I'm comfortable doing it at a loss, and along comes an opportunity for me to do the exact same thing but at a profit, of course I'm going to take the opportunity for profit making, right? And I think Massey is a clear opportunity for profit making. Yeah,
Definitely.
clear opportunity for profit making if I was in Trinidad. So I'd be buying it like hell, and so the demand has gone up. It ended the year at 105, which I give people an end of year gift. That today's exchange rate, that means that if it were to list tomorrow, or tomorrow Tuesday, Monday, so because Monday is not a holiday. So if you were to list Monday, January 3rd, 2022, January 3, 2022. At this price, it would be listing at 2,407 Jamaican dollars and 65 cents. And that's the beauty of the market because that's crazy. Nobody people think of it as expensive. We know that doesn't define how expensive it is. That's just a nominal value. But the market is never wrong. If the majority of the people think 2,000 odd is expensive, then
2,000 odd too expensive.
2,000 odd is expensive, right? And that's what we're seeing. That GHL is the great example of that. This is GHL's showing that. This is them ignoring market reality. But maybe somebody else had a different idea here. Anyway, however, in this case, 2,407 Jamaican dollars and 65 cents with a known split date of what? I think January 22nd. Ooh. Ooh. I mean, I'd be buying crazily. And I think a lot of savvy investors will be buying crazily also. Probably a lot of savvy investors are buying already. Who knows? And if you list by introduction, and let's say the broker here allows the what would they do, like an offer for sale, kind of like maybe GHL.
Yes,
So you do an
I wonder if that's in the offer for sale.
Yeah, well, like what GHL did, you had the opportunity. It's like an IPO, but it's not because it's a listed company.
It's already
so
listed.
So you do like an offer for sale there, and you get in. Or well, I mean, whoever puts that offer for, well, it would make whoever, we know who it is, it would be Barita, right? Who have proven to us that they know the market.
They know the market. Yep.
Yeah. The only company to do an APO and have it make sense for regular investors.
Indeed. Yes.
Yeah, and then the split was a split at 20-1.
20-1. Yeah.
So then, so that
$120 company, 2,400, $120 company.
Ooh, And I think Jamaicans have gotten used to that now. I think we're getting
Mhm.
more used to the $100 companies,
And
the NCB.
give us $100 company and just show us that there's more to come,
Yeah,
and it works. NCB falling
yeah.
from 200, and it's not going far. It's not that 120 is a strong line for it. You're not seeing much pushing beyond that, below that point.
hmm
So in my head, people are very fine. Not generally the general public, whatever. NCB seems to hold a good amount of value at 120.
hmm
If that was a
Even
scary point for a lot of people, you'd see it below. You'd see it below the 100 pretty easily. So
yeah,
to me, it's a lot of confidence there that $100.
I'm
The
hoping
man
that the
said
people on
Soundgarden in 2022 left with.
right. I hope that you guys can hear. Well, you still wouldn't be able to hear on the YouTube. No, well, hold on 1 second. And I'm hoping that the people on the YouTube can hear us again. I'm sorry about the sound going out, but you heard pretty much. You heard what we were saying there, and we are back on. So I think you guys can hear us again. And Michael Price said, yeah, so, 2022 sound gone. So sorry, as you can tell, I'm doing this on my own computer, trying to play producer and showrunner. To take some of the pressure off the producer and showrunner. I see Pink Scorpio evening.
Who that? Money God?
Pink Scorpio, you can hear us. If you answer, you have to unmute, by the way.
Big up Gaines Goddess.
The top breaker itself.
Yeah, I don't think she's hearing us, so I should not say nothing.
Hello.
Okay.
Oh,
Hello,
hi.
good evening.
Night.
Good night.
Evening,
Pink Scorpio.
evening. How
Speaker.
are you doing?
Hold on. When did I become a speaker? No, that's an accident.
Well, it's a happy
No.
accident to end the year.
No,
Yo,
man.
Pink,
Seriously.
Pink Scorpio. What's that side? So,
Jesus.
guys, I mean, this introduction, this person is a market mover, and I wanted to give you guys some motivation in the 2022 because the amount of money she make on this market is crazy. So, over to you, Pink Scorpio.
Pressure. How are you,
my
Pink
God.
Scorpio?
All right, thank you. I am.
All right.
Yeah.
You can all
Jesus.
right. You're good.
Oh,
You're more than all right.
Calm down. Don't make the pressure about it. Don't make the pressure about it. Ignore that.
yeah, you know, I'm nervous already, but no, like seriously, how did I become a speaker though?
You would have had to
Sorry,
request it
everybody.
at some point. You know, request
Oh
at
no,
some
man,
point.
That's an accident. That's an
Well,
accident. Honest accident.
it's a happy accident. Tell us which stock was your favorite stock this year.
So far it was a stock from earlier. Janties.
So
Jamaica
far,
Teas.
Yeah.
and you put again 8:48 on the last day of the year, market close. And my boss says, so far, what are you working on?
Oh boy, Jamaica Teas. Why was it your favorite stock?
I got into it early enough and I made the most money from it. I pumped the most money into Jamaican teas and I made the most money. So yeah.
Love that.
Okay,
But
Yeah,
and that's
that's
a
a
stock
hell of a
that
run
gave
this
us,
year.
yeah man, 93%. It ended the year up 93%, and it has been higher, right?
Mhm.
It has
right,
been
right,
higher. Yeah,
right,
it has gone as high as 475 this year.
75. Yes.
Yeah.
right.
So it really has given us some good gains. I also actually, as you know, yeah, I think you hear me say that at Advanced Grower, I think it was at whatever one of the sessions it was. I actually recovered using Jam Tea because I took a hit on, believe it or not, Dolphin Cove early out. And I took a hit,
Early.
I had to sell. Yeah, remember when Dan and I were talking about it, long before it was popular, I had bought it and I had to get out of it because I needed some money and it was on the list to sell. So I sold some and I sold at a loss and I got out of something else also at a loss. And I don't make losses, right? So if I get out of something at a loss, I have
Money
to,
need to make
when
back.
I get to my goal time, I need to be in at least profit, if not at my goal. So the money have to go into something that's going to recover the loss and also make the profit.
Close.
And Janty was one of those things that helped me with that throughout the year.
Janty, that's a sweet one.
Yeah, it was annoying sometimes too, and it still is
Oh
annoying
yeah, man.
because
Yes. Because you know Janty at even at 475 is a damn good buy.
oh yeah, Even,
So
yeah.
you buy at the high because you know that again, you don't buy stuff for where it's coming from, you don't buy for where it is. No, you buy for where it's going. So
Expect it to be, that's
the
right.
annoying part is just a shifting timeline with everything. And just a lot of misinterpretation around how things were put out. So a lot of that misinterpretation became public. So you can see how people reacted to that and not all. So that was the annoying part for me. So Jamty
And
still
COVID.
great. Oh yes, COVID. Yeah, not COVID. But that's funny, you can QW by eye. QW by eye. Stop with the police. So what kind of money made for those guys?
Yeah, QWI ended this year up strongly profit wise. And for the people confused between the two, QWI is owned heavily by Jam Tea. It's pretty much investing arm of Jamaica Teas. And last year it ended with a 300 almost $400 million loss. This year it made it back plus made it back. They ended roughly 350 mil, 349.7 mil in profit. By the way, guys, those of you on YouTube looking on the screen, I just have to shout out My Money JA for providing the data services for us, official data provider of pretty much everything we do. And it is wonderful. Anyway, QWI.
I have to shout out My Money JA. My clients know what's on the other side of the screen when I start sharing my screen. My Money JA makes your bro, trust me. Everything laid out for my explanation really well. And most of them actually use it. So when they present their portfolio to me, proper. If you want to track your portfolio, I don't recommend anything else. Right? Use our dashboard, and in fact, I used to think that I was in the dashboard for way too long. My money was up. I was using my money, but I'm gonna put a portfolio on it. And you know, boy, if I press sync, if I enter whatever, the ease right now with My Money JA, it's boy.
It's huge,
Yeah.
but that's not a public feature yet. It's a free ad, thank you, but it's not a public feature.
I wasn't even talking about that. I was even before that. Just tracking my portfolio, just doing the trades, like the cash situation where I don't have to do all the bag of maths in my. If you check my calculator, most like for the year is okay, running through the how much this work out, whatever, because the dashboard does never have that. My Money JA, since I haven't gone back because properly eat, put in my trades and go on my business.
Yeah, man. I'm biased. Like I say, it's a great tool. With it, we have a great dev working, and we're looking to hire early in 2022. So if you're a front end developer, feel free to start reaching out because we're looking to hire. But yeah, great tool. But you're saying QWI and how it has helped Jamty, Danhai.
Proper. That's anyway again. You mentioned more than once about how stocks help people in the business. Blue Power was a good example, and Jamty probably the best example. Look at what they've done with QWI, how much money they make from it. It basically smoothed out any other uncertainties that COVID caused for the business. Think of the growth they had going into 2020, the growth that they fought for and then maintained, and how QWI helped them push. That's all right, cool. Kind of having a big issue with export right now because supply chain, whatever. They're QWI on the back, making that back of money, but still good. So, props to QWI.
Yeah, being almost like an insurance for the business because any strain that they have with any of the other arms of the business, QWI is there to be able to make it up, right? Jamty, I like, still one of my favorite companies. I like the fact that, in my view, they are the most, to me, most practical and profitable real estate company.
Yes. I love that practical point because if you hear real estate, my word, man. So from both sides, the companies that do it and those clients that the Jamaican dream, they're buying into real estate just for the sake of it and whatever. And then the moment you tell them very quickly what real estate actually looks like for your pocket, things change. Oh, I have 30 million, I want to buy a house. What are you going to do the house? Oh, I'm going to think there, I'm going to rent. What kind of rent you looking at? You know, Kingston get some nice $100,000 thing there, rentals, whatever. And then you put 30 million and it takes you almost 30 years to get back the amount of money you put in.
Yeah, but they don't talk about that on the back end, right? What you hear is we get told the same lie. We've all been taught the lie that really you get money. The best way to make money is real estate. Real estate is where money. The reality, I mean, I'm not saying you can't make money there, but real estate is a rich woman, it's a rich person's game. You have to have a lot of money to really get into it, and it's still going to take some time. It's not like everything else. But Jamaica Teas has been quietly through their real estate arm, H. Food and Sons. I think been just quietly doing developments,
which is funny. That's where most of the real money is in real estate. Somebody asked me the other day actually, why don't most real estate developers why they don't keep units for rental so as heavily? And you see that in the US. I have to explain why it's a much different ball game there and how they think them. The first person had a very interesting point though about using the market for that. And in my head, it's possible, but there's a lot of things there. A lot of the market that is not really looking to certain things like that just yet. I think more money just needs to be in the market, so more opportunities straighten out. So it's a great opportunity, and I think it happens a lot in America. I think about REITs. I keep the unit, but I list it under a REIT, so I'll pull some cash and I can continue my developments versus if I rent it, I'm making a REIT money. So I can do more after I do this.
Yeah, I think REITs, we got solar lines in America about it because in America REITs make sense. In America, there's entire tax laws written around making REITs make sense in America. In Jamaica, there's no benefit to a REIT. So there's no tax favoritism for a REIT. There's nothing there. It only works because of the lie you've been told. Not that there isn't value to it, but it's not the same sort of value as other companies. And so maybe I think that's why you see like the muted response and results from like Cygnus Real Estate and Stanley Motor and a Kingston Properties. And it's funny enough because Stanley Motor have a nice steady cash flow there coming in because
really well. You're not finding. I think that's a snap to reality for a lot of people that make certain talk about cash flow, real estate, whatever. All right, Stanley Motor, why the price not moving like you say a company that does those things would move.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Yeah. Just to remind anybody listening in what we're doing. And thank you, by the way, Pink Scorpio. She should run away. She probably run back to being a listener. That she don't want to see. But see, you gave us a good topic and it's great.
Indeed.
Anybody else? You have a point, just send a speaking request, anything you want to talk about, anything you'd like to hear us talk and speak on, anything you have any questions, anything like that, send the questions. If you have any tweets, use the hashtag BrickTalk. I see Tom Sings saying investors are not enticed only by great results. Great results should be followed by good dividends. Companies making huge profits, huge profits, and be paying 1% per year. That sounds like somebody who is learning the reality of what dividends are.
Dividends are,
Yeah. Everybody talks about dividends until you get into the reality of what dividends are. Then you realize, wait, it's not that great. Yeah, it can be great, but you have to know how to make it great.
About thoughts around things like that, though. That whole line of thought shouldn't be happy about owning things. Investors are not excited only by great results, but the great results leads to great. That's where you get the great dividends from. You're not paying dividends out of nowhere. You have to make the money. So the dividend is a part of it, is a cash from those profits that you can touch. A company doing better 1% dividend on I say one that's a stock price thing, dividend yield, but I say all right, cool, 25% of the profits paid out on 100 mil. If your company can pull $1 billion and get paid 25% of those profits, you can see where you can see immediately where the difference in that money is. The stock price might be far, and that's largely why the stock price moves. Because somebody said, all right, if this never move and get paid that 25% on 100 million this year, and then 10x it gone to $1 billion, imagine what they'll pay if the stock price stay the same. There's somebody chasing that. And that's why that one probably look like a 1% again, same dividend yield, just on more money. So if you were that investor buying into $100 million profit because you saw that $1 billion coming, you get your movement, your dividend yield is much better than if you were to buy at the peak because that dividend number look nice. So different ball games, you will have to know the ball game you play and you have to invest like it.
Yeah. Versus just doing what is the popularly thought and said
thing to do. Yeah.
I see all the time where that happens, and I hear people, because you've been told to expect these things. Everybody do the same talk, you should invest for dividends, but they never really think about what it is that they're actually getting or what they expect to get, and so that's why they get into it wrong. However, I believe that if you get into it properly, as I showed people at I think the advanced grow before this one and the last advanced grow on leverage, the power of dividends when leveraged the right way or when used in the right situation, dividends can be extremely useful on the local market. And funny enough, Danhai, more I've seen in, because the US market, you have dividend plays, there's thousands of hundreds of stocks. You have people who do dividend plays where they're moving them portfolio around almost every week to collect different dividends, for the cash flow, and again, so for some tax purposes, depending on where they live and whatever. But if you are looking at dividend plays, the local market actually has, if you're a serious dividend investor, meaning you actually know what you're doing and you actually know what that means to be a serious dividend investor and aggressive, the local market has some moves.
A client asked me about that actually. She said she knows of somebody that chases dividends, and he says he can make a good money. Whatever. I didn't verify anything, but she wanted something like that. And just quickly, when I started to explain what it actually looks like and the type of work you have to be doing for that, then she realized maybe that's not for me. Because I told her she knows more of the market than she thinks she knows. It's one of the people that doubt themselves, but she really didn't know about things, and I think she makes a great investor. She trusts herself.
Yeah, but as always, a lot of people always are like that. So they doubt themselves. One of the things that I always point out to people, and I say to people here, that I have never met a Jamaican who doesn't already know more than enough to be a successful investor. But so many Jamaicans think that they don't know enough to be successful investors. If it's one thing you guys can change in 2022, and if you're thinking, well, that don't really mean, yes, I'm talking directly to you. you know enough already to be a successful investor. You can make money on the market if you have enough. If you can read, if you can go shop and come back with the right change, you already know enough. If you can if you can go town and get back home safely, that's harder to do, especially with our crime rate. It's harder to do than it is to invest on the market. You already
If you
know
can start
enough.
a hustle.
Yes. Oh God. And if you're in business, if you're looking for multiple streams of income, if you already have your multiple streams of income or your hustle like that I say working on, you definitely need to do this because this is a safety thing. This can save a business. This can save or make a business. Yeah, if you know you have your one roast, so you do every couple of months you do this roast and you get a big money from it, you put it all in savings or whatever, you might want to learn to do the things we're talking about. Either from a class from me where we teach it, or you do a session with Danhai and he can help you, guide you, tell you what to do. If you want to learn to do it, or you want somebody who knows to do it, guide you, you have the two options here. But if you want to do something in 2022, learn to do it, please. If you say, boy, I can't pay the money for that, then go out and learn on your own. But you need to learn to do it. Trust me. It is the only route to wealth. Equity is the only route to wealth. But we can talk about that another space. I see Stuart. You sent a speaking request. How you doing, Stuart?
I am alive and giving thanks, sir. Praise God, I've made it through 2 years of the worst group project ever in life.
Big up to us.
I hope the group project don't know though, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We will see. Well, I'll ask you the same question. What was your best or worst stock this year and why?
Best
or if
stock
there's any other thing you'd want us to talk about.
All right. Best stock was a tie between Jamties and CPJ for me. Jamties and Dolphin Cove. CPJ was Jamties and CPJ last year, but Jamties and CPJ this year. I mean Dolphin Cove this year. Worst one for me. Well, to be honest with you, between you, Danhai, and the Grower Workshops, I haven't had any worse ones. The only negatives I had was when Danhai and I had the consultation, but I wasn't able to make the move in time because I was waiting on some cash to come in. So we had the strategy planned out and everything, but I just wasn't able to execute because of a delay on my end. So that's the only thing I had worried about. But the best. No, continue, Danhai.
If it's one thing I tell people, life happens. I think we get stuck up in the typical people that talk about investments and how they act like say people do have a life happening outside of this. Or like things can't happen to you, so everything must be a sacrifice and whatever. Or for just investing for the sake of investing. Are you doing this for something? So if life happen, it can't happen, then you just have to work with that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
the practicality.
I'll be honest with you, the best thing about this year, because I signed up for the beta thing that we have on my Money JA with the bringing over your portfolio from JTrader, and I am at 92 transactions, and I started last year November 16th.
Well, okay, that's a lot, but we don't measure.
No. That was just because I remember somebody was saying some of the 700 club, and I'm nowhere near that. However, that being said, I've found that the best thing for me this year has been not necessarily just the market knowledge, but just the expanding of the mind space, the expanding of, okay, no longer is $20 million a lot of money to you. You know what I mean?
Crazy. I'm sure people on this space looking at you like, what's they talking about?
I don't know what this guy talking about.
No, as in having $20 million, like to me at last year at this time, disposable income or disposable cash would have seemed like it's not a great deal, but a nice little chunk to have. No, it's my complete headspace is just completely turned. And then on top of it, after the most recent advanced grow about the companies and about keeping your assets underneath companies instead of underneath your name. Like that's a complete whole different thing. Because if Brogard can do it and get rid of it, why not me?
So happy New Year to you when it comes.
You know what I mean?
Happy New Year to you when it comes, and I hope you have I hope you really have a even better 2022. I ask you one last
Indeed.
question before I mute you.
Yes.
Your portfolio is your portfolio in profit?
Yes, I'm in profit. I'm currently up 11.47%. And I expect that number to jump significantly after the first quarter of 2020.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting first quarter. You bought into the one extra one. You bought into the
IPO.
spices
No,
IPO.
I have because of the scarcity of the cove, I tied up some money in there, and I know that I'm going to leave it in there for a little while. And jam
Okay.
teas, I did not want to miss the train again because I had actually set a sell order for it. Completely forgot about it. Got the email T plus 2 days later, freak out, and managed to jump back in just below my upper limit. So praise God, give thanks.
All right. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Big up, big up, big
Oh,
up,
by
and
the way,
thank you.
fun fact.
Yes.
You remember how I used to cuss and complain about how our leaders were taking advantage of the system? Complain
About
or
a minute
profit.
ago. Yeah.
Complain or profit.
Complain or profit. That is true. That is true. We're big thankful that the laws work for everybody, not just for some. In some
Hey.
cases, at least.
It's a serious thing going with it in terms of the view of what is a lot of money. It's going to be always subjective, but it's a funny thing. Just looking at what a certain amount of money would get me to do before versus or like just like Jano having if I work out something I know I get paid X amount for doing something before, yeah man, do it. No, you know worth it because the time I spend doing that versus this other thing. And even though it's money I don't have yet, but I consider a lot.
Yeah. I'm with him completely. So thank you very much for that, Stuart. And Happy New Year when it comes.
Same to you too, both gentlemen.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, that one of the things that some of the things that happened this year, especially around Carib Cement and so on, allowed me really to. It was a good reminder of where I'm coming from, where I am now, and where I'd like to go, and the fact that there are people along that entire journey. So I always say I started with 10,000 Jamaican dollars, right? Then I will tell you him start with a little piece of him pay, then him put as much as him could in there, right? And so you can, if you have 10 grand, 5 grand, and when I started, the least amount of shares you could buy on the JSC was 100 units. Now you can buy 1 unit. So if you have 25 Jamaican dollars, you can invest. Realistically, if you have 79 Jamaican cents, you can invest. If you wanted to put your money in a dead company called Siboney, which is a dead company, I'm not telling anybody to, I can't tell anybody to buy or sell anything, but certainly not Siboney, which is a dead company. Let me say it again. However, it is the cheapest stock that you can buy one of on the JSE, including, of course, taxes and fees and whatever. Speaking of fees, I hear that JSC is increasing their cess rate or at the start of next year. So tomorrow, it goes, or realistically Monday morning, it goes from 0.33% to 0.35. Yeah, so I just throwing that out there. Not that but most people, they probably will even notice and probably will even matter, but for the really serious investors, you pay attention to that stuff. You can see it. Cool. Anybody else have any points that they want to ask about? Any questions? Any stock you really want to know about? Anything you're thinking of? You want to hear from us? Send a speaking request and we'll approve it and you can talk about it. Before we tell everybody Happy New Year and good night. You're saying something just now, Danhai?
My money JA just remind me about the first. I just talking, so because you said that, because the whole beta test of whatever, remind me to jump back and check my first transaction. I tried to buy Jetcon at 11:21. Imagine, and it expired. So that's what I did. The again, cable and wireless buy, and it was Jano. So yeah, then I scraped together pay. I saved the money for a couple hours before I actually start for actually buy anything. And 157, 15,000 units, that's around $20,000. I tried to buy checks on. I tried to buy I bought things with it. So yes, started with $20,000 after saving pay. Do you know what time? What a way times change. But it's really a good thing. Do you know anybody can start?
And it's easier to
Because the
start
way
now.
I was pinching pennies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, again,
Yeah, man.
I tell my girlfriend no. I started investing close to when we start properly talking and get together and to go. And she never knew I was that broke. Yeah.
I want to respond properly, but we are live. Big up you for making good investments.
Indeed.
and holding them in the long term too. Yeah, so it has worked out. It worked out. It continues to work out.
Quite well.
Yeah. It really is a good thing that you're looking at. The thing we hear them talking about, people that I say is not quite public yet, is a feature that if you have a premium account on My Money JA, in a few days you'll get a notification to test it out also. So look out for it soon. Some people are doing some early testing. My grower group is doing some early testing, and then the premium subscribers are gonna get to test it also, and then eventually, hopefully, it will roll out to all paid users. But yeah, if you like the website now, you're going to love it in 2022. And again, thank you to My Money JA for officially sponsoring the Brick Talk every week. But Stuart just spoke. I guess nobody else has any other questions. I doubt that, but I keep wondering if it's on my side where sometimes Spaces doesn't work when I put out when somebody sends the request to speak, or maybe just nobody know I have no question, which is also okay. But I see Phil put up his hand. Phil's already a speaker. Yes, Phil.
Man, since nobody else want to talk,
take the opportunity, brother.
I'm taking the opportunity. I saw a few interesting reactions to the lab's results.
It just came out. Fresh results from the lab.
Right, just came out today.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm always very interested in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just, seeing that there was, some people that are not very happy with the results.
Really?
Yeah, which,
Why would they not be happy with the results?
With. I asked for explanation. I don't really get any.
But that's a strange thing. I wouldn't expect people to be unhappy with the results.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very, very strange thing. I mean, looking on the results no. I'm going to go from memory here because I looked at them myself, but I don't think they're updated on the website yet. But they ended the year up 27% profit, 27% higher profit.
You're going like rate My Money JA, did they, man?
No, of course, the results are there, but I mean, in terms of updating the performance section, it's not updated as yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, of course, man. My manager is always on point. But yeah, the 27% improvement in profit. Let me go to the easy version for people. 27% improvement in profit, and an announcement of a dividend also. Same time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that they announced a dividend of a dividend and a special dividend. So 1.33 cents per share plus another 0.38 cents per share. So altogether 5.13 cents per share, which at today's prices is 1.3% yield as a dividend. Probably one of the stronger dividends, one of the stronger dividends on the JSC, I believe. And the results. What do you think it could be that they don't like about it, Phil?
The only thing I would say is that the net profit for the last quarter is a little bit less than the net profit of the previous quarter, of the quarter same period last year. But But in the results and in the MD&A, they explain the startup cost of their new subsidiary as being the most significant contributor to that.
But devil's advocate though, Phil.
But
typically that's how people see it. So very often you have good results, good company, good whatever. But if that net profit line is less than last year, then very quickly, nobody care again. That's the idea many people have. And if you think about it, I would say that anybody saying that, if you look at your timeline and the timeline that you have for whatever your investment in that company is, if that works against you, then sure, do any for do. But if you get up and say, okay, I can hold some more than I'm holding it beyond this quarter because I expect whatever, and it works well within your timeline, then that kind of movement, you kind of not really making it right way, in my opinion. So depends how you're looking at it. It would depend per investor, whatever. But I find that many investors do that. Cool. Like look on lumber. The explanation around why the 17 business days last, we kind of break even on our profit. But you still have some man say, boy,
it's a bad thing.
Really look like I want to do. It's a bad thing. It's not bad because it's less. It's just not as good as you want it to be, sure. But just let the reason into it, and then you have to look at your investment and why you're making an investment. And if that don't match up, then you know what to do.
Right.
Yeah. So I think people have to get real themselves most times.
Yeah, I suspect so. How I see it is, I mean, if they say that there are 22.4% increase in the group's net profit, right? So 28 million higher. This thing listed in 2019, and of course I'm biased as involved in the listing of it, and I'm still one of the big shareholders in the lab. But as well, I'm saying this as an investor in the lab, as a shareholder in the lab. If 2 years after listing, they're still beating their net profit year on year. Yo, the profit this year, the profit of 155 million is greater than, I think in 2017 the lab had some issues, right? And Kimal and team really got they sorted things out, right? 2018, then the proof of them sorting it out was that in 2018 it was a record year of profit for them, best profit ever, 62 million made in terms of net profit. 2019 beat that year, 94 million, 94.7 million. This is the year the IPO. If you add together the profit of both these years, you're getting around the level of the profit of the year that was just closed.
Yeah.
Madness.
Less even.
Do people understand the level of potential that indicates? And if you think about what, like at this point, they're talking about, oh, well, okay, so let me join Danhai and play devil's advocate. In Q4 last year, it was about what, Phil? 20 million in terms of profit?
Yeah.
19.2.
Right.
19.2, right? And in Q4 of this year, what you tell me, Phil, I don't have to do the math. You tell me, in Q2 of this year, what is it?
Is 11 or 12?
12.
Yeah.
All right. Now, add back the 6.1 loss from the new subsidiary to 12. What you get?
Right. You get 18.
Point something, right?
Point something.
Yeah. And as I said, last quarter last year, they're at 19 point something. So, and that would give them 6 mil more profit, which would give them an even higher net profit for the year. That's a company that's growing, and the part of it that looks soft is the part that is a new a new
Subsidiary.
Fingers crossed for that. A new subsidiary that's around a new line of business that the company is really putting not just cost into. They say it's mostly startup costs, but there's obviously business that part of the business has done, because if for the people who want to do the digging, if you go way down in the financials, they speak about doing related party. You remember somebody asked if you can tell how much money a related party has made to a listed company.
Yeah.
That's a finance thing that if you're in finance, you would know, right? Yeah, it has to be listed. It's a legal requirement. Anyway, I'm looking for the specific thing to show you where they speak about doing their talent fees paid to Scope Caribbean Limited. 432,000. Not a lot, but obviously if they're paying talent fees to Scope and you know what Scope does as a business, it says that there's some amount of business that has happened at least between the start of Scope, which if I recall correctly was there, May 2021, and October 30th, 2021. So June, July, August, September, October, 5 months roughly for them to start the business, and some businesses going there. That to me looks like a hint, but Phil, I don't know who it is that told you that they feel kind of iffy about it. I hope that person sells their shares.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I think people need to think that they need to just the terms they use, to separate their investment from what when they're looking at a company. And so good results are good results. Good results to do what the so if you're banking on results for the company to do certain type of movement so you can get the money you want in your share price appreciation, that's a very different thing than the company is doing terribly. If you lose money in the share price, Signal's doing well, share price down. It was great results. The reaction wasn't what you think then. So it's not a Signal that put up bad results. I actually had a lot of that. I see it right after results. Did you check the results? No, it's a great results. It's just all right, cool. Maybe it wasn't what the market wanted for the movement that you wanted. So it's a very different thing. Good results, bad results. Bad results is generally this company doing terribly.
Exactly. Good results is a complete other thing. Good results are the market is never wrong. So let's see what the market does. But whoever it is that thinks it's bad, I encourage you to sell your shares. And if you can sell it before the dividend qualification, a lot of us would be very happy with that. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. All right. Thank you for that point, Phil. I don't know if anybody, I see a bunch of speakers came in the same time. Mr. Signals himself, Sir Troy, how are you doing?
Troy,
Evening to everyone.
Evening, boss.
Evening. How are you doing? Happy New Year when it comes, sir.
Yeah, man, respect. Same to you. There, one question. As it relates to my money, JA. When the year roll over, New Year, as it relates to the tracking of the portfolio, does it automatically rolls over or rebalances portfolio to zero?
When you say rebalance, what do you mean?
So from the start of the percentage, does it goes back to zero when the year starts? Because it basically starts over.
Oh, that's a great question. No, it does not yet. It doesn't yet. But so is that thing like what we did, Danhai, where you pay attention to what your gains for the year are?
Year to date.
Yeah. Does it allow you to do that? Yeah, but not as smoothly as I'd like. But I suspect that there's a change coming, especially early in the year, that will allow you to look at remember, well, it has to cater to all investor types. So some people don't care about that. And some people have portfolios. I mean, the data on it, if you have a paid account, we have data going back years and years and years. I think we have over 10 years worth of sales data, stock price data. So what I'll say to answer your question, Troy, is that I suspect there'll be an update coming very, very soon that will allow you to view your portfolio's results over whatever time period you want to view it.
That's nice.
Not just a year, whatever time period you want to do it. So as it is right now, it tracks your portfolio value over the time that you first bought it till today, whatever today is, but we will allow you to specify what you want to see. So is it that you want to see how you did over this year, over this quarter, over this day, over this month, whatever it is, you'll get a chance to that. So that's a good one. And if anybody have any other suggestions like that, you can always hit the little chat bot right here, this little chat bubble, and the message will be sent sent in, and if it's important, if it's urgent, it'll be responded to, and if it's a good suggestion, it will be considered and rolled in.
I
So
love
I
that
hope that
because
answers your question.
you're giving me less work to the base guy. Love that.
That's the idea. Let the computers do the work.
Indeed.
Yeah. We have a bunch more speakers. Chike, Guyanese CV. Can you hear us? Chike, if you're speaking, you have to unmute.
Yeah, hi guys. I actually,
Evening.
What's
I
up, boss?
didn't. I'm good. What are you guys doing? Happy, I should say, all the best for the new year when it comes.
Same
Yeah,
to
man.
you.
All
Same
the
to
best
you.
for the new year. Also to you. So what's up?
I just joined in late actually. I mean, I saw everybody. I've been observing everything that was going on today. Everybody, hopefully, everybody gets what they want for the spurtry.
I mean, hope is not a strategy.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
What is the thing that you're thinking should happen with regards to this?
Based on how that IPO, based on how it went in terms of the amount of bids. It's
The
gonna
amount of
be
people that applied for it.
yeah, it's gonna be
Mhm.
interesting to see what it gets. But we've had some persons. I mean, everybody was anxious on it, but I was looking on the fact that whatever you miss, I guess my only advice about that, because I've seen a lot of buzz about it, is go to the open market there and have some patience and just set for your price accordingly and get in and then have some patience going forward.
Well, I don't know if you need patience. You need patience in terms of when it's going to list, but whenever that's
After
not up to us. So whenever it
after
lists, it
list,
lists. So
after
when it
list.
lists, it's available from day one. You don't need
Yeah.
patience after that point. You
It's
just
an
need money.
interest. Yeah. So the thing is, so one, I agree with you. Probably hear the same thing from us for quite a while now with IPOs, especially ones where you can't get all into get.
Yeah.
Those, if you're fine, but if the only price you're fine buying with is the IPO price, then boy, you might be out of luck unless
You will be.
it
Yeah,
falls.
you will be for a while.
I don't speak in absolutes, so I can't say that you will, but I expect that yes. If but what I would say then, if at this point you say, okay, what is your price that you're okay with buying, but you're okay buying up to? Says if you're good at $2, then you see it on the market for less than $2. Have at it.
Yeah, I think that's I feel that is that's the trouble that many persons have. That once it does list and then it has the momentum to go up, right? They get
As
they
all stocks do.
yes, they they,
Mhm.
they, they, they get that skittish behavior to basically decide to still go after it because they believe that they've missed out. So
Yep.
I'm assuming you guys would have spoken about that already, in
Yeah,
that
man.
position.
Not really.
Not directly, but we did touch on people with the idea that because it moved, people only always seem to have an idea that the price they could have get in the past is the only price they should be buying that. Right? So because it moved, again, got Fesco. Fesco is at almost $3 now. If you're buying Fesco at if you're buying Fesco at $2, great. You could have been buying Fesco below $2 for a very long time.
That's right.
Okay. So if you think it can go more than where it can go, and you're fine buying up to what X price, you set your price and you know you can get it at, you get that there and go to your business. It's nice.
Well, I have some. Well, for me personally, on it, um, ig- not to say I don't want to say ignoring it, but ignoring the momentum that will happen when it lists. The company
What's
still
the
has a lot.
momentum?
Well, based on what I've observed, the momentum is that the company is supposed to do really good things in terms. Well, not the company. Sorry, the stock price is supposed to be very liquid in terms of trading. But I'm me guys. I focus on the company. I like everything I saw, but I like the things that I saw about the company qualitatively. I like the fact that they're gonna lose paying those taxes. What was it, $21 million basically? If it goes up to every, I don't know, just hypothetically 5%, every year, right? to the bottom line of net profit. Basically, they made what $69 million in net profit in the last report. I think it was. Don't quote me. Which report it was? If it was the quarter or the full year. But there was a $21 million tax piece. If that keeps coming on every single year and they no longer have to pay that, that's 89 million. Then if the net profit improves, which it looks like it will based on everything that they've been doing and how they've positioned themselves, they've got a lot of wind in their sails. Plus they have no debt. That's the biggest piece of wind in their sails. They have zero debt going forward.
I would say that's win. I would say that might be opportunity. Very often.
I look at it as well. That's why I use the term wind in the sails, because they're firmly out to sea and it's supposed to blow them forward. Like, yeah.
I mean, no, to me, whenever I say no debt, I just mean okay, they can raise it.
Yeah,
yes,
they probably should.
And they should.
Yeah,
I agree. They should come back to the market. Well, you realize that for those who read the prospectus understand, they left it very much open, and in terms of the number of shares, it's unlimited. There is no cap, so they can easily come back when they need to. I did have one thing that I found pressing. Tell me if you guys have questioned this. What do you feel? What were your thought processes on the fact that Mr. Dawkins removed himself completely from the company as a founding director? That one didn't sit too nicely with me.
When did he remove himself?
Yeah, pretty much he has pre IPO, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got rid of all his shares.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and he was the largest shareholder in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And while there is in the prospectus, it has a description speaking to succession planning. If you look on the portfolio that he held in the company, or should I say what his position was in the company, right? In the recent investor briefing that we listened to, the last one that we listened, there wasn't any mention about Mr. Dawkins and his role in the company as was it project manager for logistics, and is it brand development?
You know,
Brand development.
They don't think that the company presenting its way forward is saying is not mentioned in the past. The guy that left, as imagine if they came to the table and said, "Boy, we really missed that guy. We need it." How you feel? Versus, hey, the way forward is this, and we're not really mentioning the guy that left.
Well, the thing is, because he's mentioned in the prospectus as still being an executive director, right?
Mm-hmm.
And going forward,
and he's also on the board.
He's also on the board.
Director, yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I'm gonna inject a little bit of the leeching statement of if you hurt as a shareholder, the person who owns the company should hurt more. And
but if you're
gone.
the shareholder, you are the person who owns the company.
What I mean is, Mr. Dawkins as one of the heads of the company is completely gone. Like, as in not gone. His exposure in terms of him having a piece of the company is no longer there. He has.
Why did he sell? Why did he sell?
That is the $1 million question.
Is it?
Or maybe it's a $75 million question.
For me,
suppose he needs the money.
He had 378 million shares, and then that was no.
And yeah, I thought he needed the money.
I get that that if he needed the money for sure, but to remove your entire share.
Yeah, if he needed the money. I suppose he had an opportunity. I suppose he didn't care for a listed company. He likes his company's private. Suppose he wanted to move elsewhere, but he's very fine staying where he is in terms of. Well, he might well like the company and stay where he is, like, and whatever value he can bring to it might not be tied to his ownership of the company. And that really a problem, in my opinion. I'm taking the company that I can get. If it's good enough at that point, then it's fine. Versus, boy, I really like him stay sure, but I can't get that.
True. And that's the thing for me. I don't know his impact in terms of what was his impact in the company prior to everything. Who knows? But I mean, it's water on the bridge now.
I think he had strong impact in that company.
Well, I mean, we do know. He says it right there. in 2005, he was a founding partner in Spur 3. He was initially responsible for all the admin and operational activities
And
of
I
the
have,
company.
and that's the thing. I had questions at that point, but I was just like, nope, it's not gonna get answered now. I guess it's gonna get answered afterwards when they list and we have AGMs at that point in time to ask the question that I, think of a formal answer.
But then
And
hold
that
on,
was
hear me out. Here's 2 points. You're at a shareholder briefing and you had questions where you didn't ask them.
no. We asked them before. Well, I didn't ask them directly at that briefing. It was asked. I had somebody else asked them at the time, but it wasn't. They didn't speak on it at the time.
Okay, well, here's my thing. He's still in, as far as we know, a manager within the company, and he's also on the board. So where is the lack? Moreover, when did he leave? Yeah, I know there's a. I
No, he
almost say it
hasn't
was.
left. He hasn't left.
No man,
As
in
He
when did he
sold
sell?
his shares. He sold it. There's a footnote telling when he did a transfer to sell his shares, over to the 2 large shareholders. No, but
yeah, but I don't remember there was a date on it. I don't remember seeing a
who
date on
cares?
it. If he, well, the reason why I said I cared about it kind of concerned me simply was because the point that you just made. He's one of the founding persons in terms of that, and now his exposure is just managerial now. Basically, he can leave anytime he wants to.
Yeah,
Right?
like
He
any
doesn't have
manager.
he doesn't have sweat in the game, and or
Do you
he doesn't
consider it
really.
irreplaceable?
Nobody's irreplaceable. That's for sure.
So what's your problem exactly?
Who
What's
takes
your
over?
problem with him no longer having thing there? No longer.
Well, who takes over? Well, who genuinely takes over his position? Because his position looked like one of great
But
influence
he's
of.
not gone. You keep saying it
He's
as
still
if
there.
he's gone. Is he gone?
He just no longer has shares, and we don't know exactly why and all that. And even if it's a reason I wouldn't personally go with, or a reason I don't like why him sell the shares, we get the company. You decide at this point, this is the company you have. You want it or not?
Very true.
Also, how
Yeah.
old is the man? Let's just be practical. How
Oh
old
yeah,
is the
in
man?
my head,
I
I think
don't.
he
Yeah, I
was the
don't.
oldest one there, right?
The
Yeah.
man have 40 years worth of experience, and it seems to be a white man. So he has 40 years worth of business experience. Maybe this is a company that he helped to found, and this is him taking his payday.
Mm-hmm.
I see all of that too. I take all of those points. That's all of that I was looking on as well too.
Yeah, you can't want everybody to always stay there all the time. Stocks only make sense if you sell them, brother. At the end of the day, you have to sell it and get some money out of it,
The money it can go and worth. I can pay my net worth and whatever, and I never do not do it yet. I'm a poorest man alive. Yeah. So
Yes,
Yeah,
this is somebody who
we'll
cashed
see the
it
way
out.
forward.
so this sale, you expect something bad to happen that he sold is running away from the company for whatever reason.
I can't
It's
genuinely can't
interesting.
say.
Suppose I know a lot of older people in business that don't care to any listed companies. So
Lots.
he might suppose he can get up and say, all right, cool, I don't care for this being listed. My exposure is contingent on it remaining private. I'm here, I'll take my pay or whatever, do my manager, whatever. But I just don't want my ownership in it to be a part of a listed thing. Suppose that was the case. Would you have a problem with that?
I still would, because I'm just adhering to the fact that I'm sure I'm just following the trail of if he has exposure because his money is tied up in it or his network is tied up in it, he just doesn't want to pack up and leave and or reduce his input or anything like that. It keeps him up at night to do the duty to make sure that the company is run well. Not saying that he isn't. I'm just saying that I was just thinking about the fact that when somebody removes their entire exposure to a company that they founded or they're part of funding, I question at that point. Or I want to know. I don't question. I want to know.
I would say take solace in the fact that you have 2 other guys there. So
He's on the board.
I agree.
Call
And
the
he's
company
still
and
there.
ask him. Call the
Oh,
company
that's
and ask him.
Good point.
Yeah, I would probably look at
David
at
normally
some-
says that all the time. You can just call the company and ask them. That's a good point.
I mean, it's your company
call
to
and
buy it,
ask.
you know? It's your company. And these guys are asking to buy it.
Yeah.
Truth.
Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, so I'm assuming that you did buy shares in it then.
Of course I did.
Of course, my boy said, of course. Okay.
Let's see how much I
You
get.
you bought any that night?
No, actually, it's I like the company. Actually, I plan to buy and everything. I didn't buy to the IPO.
Yeah. I did buy some. I bought some just because they throw some at it. Big up Pink Scorpio again, who said similar to how she it's totally the business, but similar to how she is. They just had a small money and at last minute, literally the last minute, I just put in an application. But not for any amount. I do like the company. I do intend to buy. And I will probably be doing a lot of my buying when it lists early in the year.
We've often spoken about IPOs and how we apply to it. And to be honest, buying in the IPO for some companies might not be where you get winning. Again, everybody's speaking about the expectation of a limited allotment, a very limited allotment, and I expect that. So if you put all the money you want to put into Spur 3 to the IPO, you will be in Randy, and I don't expect that we'll get all we want.
If I were to do that, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. The imagine waiting on that refund.
Yeah.
That's why you always have to have your capital. You have to have your capital set up. You can't be throwing everything at it.
Well, if you've also heard us talk, you know that we don't believe in necessarily having any cash sitting around. So no, every dime gets used up. It's just we have different strategies. But thank you very much for that, Chica.
No problem.
Yeah, Chica, that's all.
All right. I'll ask one or two other people who have speaker status. If they're Miss Spontaneous, Charlene 2050, how are you? Good evening. Miss Spontaneous, if you're speaking, you have to unmute. All right, I guess she's refusing to speak. I'll just move her back down to listener. Hold on. Money bag. International
Rich. This money.
Evening. You're just talking. Evening, sir, money bag. All right, I guess you don't want to actually ask anything. Roxy K, Roxanne Burrell, do you want to ask anything? Or have a point you wanted to make?
Oh no, I just joined and that's what happened. I joined.
Okay. You have any question you want to ask us? Last time for the year?
No, not right now.
Jaja. All right, no problem. Thank you very much. Happy New Year when it comes. R31. I guess R31 also have anything.
Is it that thing there? Something going on? I don't understand.
I never ever understand it. And people pressure me about stocks when we're not doing a space, brother. We're not doing a space and pressure me about the chance. When I give them the chance, I just ask a one question and it will help everybody. Everybody goes quiet then. Serling, who I know will definitely have a question.
Indeed.
Yeah, man. Hello.
Yeah, man. Evening. How are you doing, Serling?
Yes, Chief. Not too bad. My question was about hold on 1 second. The Sagicor platform. It's not really about the stocks per se, but I just kind of wanted to have an idea of what happened with the Sagicor platform. I saw some disgruntled tweets, but I don't really know what happened. So I kind of want some clarity on that.
I have no clue either. What's Sagicor platform?
It was a bad experience for some. That's all I heard.
Oh, okay. So that would mean that they never got to apply for it, or they have to get refunds, or you're not really sure.
I heard it. The people applied and got it to the platform.
Okay. Because quite a few people never seem so pleased that they never know really what caused that or what going on. So.
I'm not sure what happened there. But Serling, since you're here, I'll ask you the same question I'll ask anybody. Well, actually, I'll pause and I'll ask you. I know Troy was just about to ask us a question.
No, I was gonna
Mr.
say that.
Signals.
I was gonna say that during the time that I asked about the tracking of the portfolio, I actually got kicked off. So that's the same time that those people got added to the system. I was wondering if that's what happened.
Oh, okay. Well, you heard her answer.
No, I never actually heard what you said. Okay.
Well, as per saying, I pretty much I suspect that because it's a platform built for all types of investors, because a platform built for all types of investors, we have to make room for all types of investors. But I suspect that very soon we're going to have a feature that allows you to see your portfolio performance within a set time. And you will probably be able to set the time so you can say, how have I done over the last quarter? How have I done how have I done between this date and this date? Or, the last quarter, the last month, the last year.
Okay, so for now, what would you recommend us doing to
if you want to see it over a certain time period?
Yeah, so to start
move I would tell you to maybe just create a second portfolio and only put the transactions in that started at the start of the year and ended at the end of the year.
Okay, so
I
already did that, but it was for another portfolio or another broker, so more than one account. So I have two portfolios created so far, so not able to do what saying I should do.
You are? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Well, if you have a paid account, you are able to create an unlimited amount of portfolios.
Oh, that's where I was going.
Sir.
That's where I was going.
Well, you just kind of have to just pay for it. It's valuable. We put a lot of money, effort, sweat, tears into it. There's a lot of money that goes into creating and keeping it running. So help us keep it running. Pay for the account. It's worth it. Trust me.
You don't have to sell me on that. I'm already sold at this time.
But I have to sell you, buy it yet.
The money just not reach to you yet. It buy mentally.
All right. I look out for. Let me check when Signals have them next dividend declaration.
Well, February 14, 13, there about.
You're the man. You're the man. So you know, there's but man knows there's something coming with each report. In fact, you know what? Troy, I wouldn't be surprised if them declare an early dividend, or then drop the dividend, or then drop the results early. That would be good for you, and I think it would be a sign of them realizing that they might have some share price fallout. But you know what? I hope they have none. I hope the Puerto Rico news is enough to send people running into it after all of the big IPOs are gone, because obviously people aren't doing that now, even though the Puerto Rico news has come out.
People are actually doing that now, because right now I see about 50 to 60,000 new bids into the buy queue. Each of them at least 10,000 shares.
Okay, I see what you're talking about here. On the buy queue, you're seeing new bids. You watch it every single day. Wow.
Yeah, the man said Mr. Signal, so you expect.
Yeah, man. And if you pay attention, if you're looking at it on YouTube, or you're rewatching this trial on YouTube, you'll see that as a paid account, also you get to see what the queues look like on My Money JA. So these are the lateral live queues on My Money JA. So
I was explaining all that to somebody today. I was basically showing them the pros and the cons of My Money JA. But that regular.
Yeah, man. Big up, man.
Yeah. With all I've heard this year, try telling us the dividend time. I want to try. How much I'm paying for the dividend? With all I've heard this year, might have sending in a thing, they send a letter and say, oh, this should be the dividend on this date. So how much I tell them to pay? So I can know when the time comes.
They're paying about another 1.5.
All right, good to hear. Thank you, sir. And that was the recommendation to the board?
Total, they should about 3 mil or 3.5 thereabout.
And that was your recommendation to the board?
Come on, I think it's already decided on.
The thing seal up. All right, boss.
Look for the proof.
Thank you very, very much.
Try best of it. Jesus, every striker coming.
It looks so right at the end.
We
Shay?
have to hear from Shanice then.
Yeah, I sent her an invite earlier, but it looked like she's busy. I sent her another one again. Shay,
Oh, hi guys.
Shay,
good
what's up?
evening.
The music has stopped for a very short time.
So talk fast.
Yeah, right. It was regarding the application for the spreadsheet. So the thing is, I was having trouble uploading my documents. But then somebody commented and said they'll just convert it to PDF and then it was fine. So I guess it all worked out.
Okay.
So yeah, that was it. And it's starting again. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to listening now.
All right. Well, before you go, what was your favorite
Danhai.
stock for the year?
Shay, what's up?
I
She
had
said
some good,
Danhai.
I had some good stock, man.
She said Danhai. She said Danhai.
Sorry.
I
Go
just
ahead,
wanted to
Shay.
say thanks, Danhai. It's been great. In a time when I just couldn't be bothered with doing it myself, then I really stepped up and said, you know what, how about this one and how about this one? And even checking, afterwards and say, hey, such and such, and link me anytime. And I really appreciate it, so that's all. Really appreciate it.
You need to WhatsApp. I know. I was saying, I thought you were saying I was the favorite stock for the year, but go ahead and tell.
Favorite stock? God, that's a tough one. It's maybe Fresco. Because I met with Dana and then I was like, it's bouncing between $1.01 and $1.06. So, let me get some. So yeah, winner.
Nice. $1.01 and $1.10 and end of the year at 288. So you get a nice over 100% gain.
Yeah, so that was good.
Yeah.
CPJ too. I met with Danhai December 10th or somewhere there. So I got it at CPJ at like $10 or something. And like in 10 days it was up by 30%. So I was like, all right, cool.
30% in 10 days. Damn.
So big up Danhai.
Big up
And
Danhai guy.
Dolphin Cove too. Dolphin Cove was one that I liked. It was very quiet, and I was like, "How is nobody paying attention to this?" Okay, let me this is my pick. And then Dana was like, "Yeah, I like that one too," and we talked about it, and so yeah, big up Dana.
Yeah, you get back a free ad, Danhai.
Much respect, Shay. Big up every time.
Yeah, man, big up Grower too, my people. The conversations are invaluable. What the lessons are invaluable, and I really respect what you guys are doing. Randy, I don't even know how to thank you, man. I mean,
well, Shay, I can tell you my bank account, and I accept thanks. But
we gonna do some things.
You're very welcome, Shay. I just keep it up in 2022. That's all I want to hear. Just keep making the money and bring somebody else in, teach somebody else.
Yeah,
and make them
I'm
see
in the middle of that for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that a lot of people are finally hearing what I'm saying. And I'd like to thank you, especially for those tweets about the DCAs, right? Because
dollar
when
cost
you say
averaging.
it like that, right? When you say it like that and you show this to somebody, it's more than you say, oh, IPO and you can make this off an IPO. It's not just one stock that I'm saying has done this. It's several stocks have done this. It's not a one-off kind of thing. It's if you are willing to make this commitment over 10 years or whatever, this is what you can do. This is how you can change your life.
Sometimes even less than 10 years.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So, big up you guys. I love what you're doing. I appreciate it. And I hope we can actually meet in person. I'm really hoping for a grower link up, Rodney.
Boy.
Really hoping for it.
Well,
Talk to Omari,
exactly.
I don't know. I don't vibe with a lot of people, but this group these are my people. Like
Buy the
we
yacht,
can
buy the
we
yacht
can
and
always have
invite.
a conversation, you know.
Same so.
The conversations are great.
Big up, Shay. Big up,
And
big
you
up,
know,
big
just
up.
why do we come back every month? It's because it's invaluable, man. It's just I found my people. I find people I can talk to for hours and hours, and it's like nothing. You know, we can
I,
talk about what just investment for hours, and I don't get bored. I don't lose interest. You know, it's great. It's a great opportunity.
glad to
So
hear it,
thank
Shay.
you.
You're very, 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 very welcome. More that in 2022.
Yeah,
And I'm glad to when I
and
hear people like
coming
you
back
saying it,
out.
because yeah, there's regular, normal people who do it, and there's money there. They have good conversations, and in turn, on I make money
Mm-hmm.
from the conversation. Right?
Well, that too. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strong thing.
But
Yeah.
it's just when you're out there and you're doing it by yourself, and I know that a lot of people doing this, they're the only ones in the family doing it. They're the only ones in the community doing it, or they're the only ones in their circle of friends doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different when you find a group of people who are really excited about this every day. Every day they can. There's going to be one person excited about something, something that you probably didn't even see, didn't even think about. You know, so I think it's just a great way to connect and to stay on track. To be honest, I mean, when you're doing it by yourself, it gets tired, to be honest. Um, and
But
it's
group
just
helps.
yeah, it's just when you have like-minded people who get excited about it and share their wins and their losses and say, this is what's happening, this is what I think, and the sharing of ideas and the sharing of facts, and just
Mm-hmm.
you can't miss anything, because these people are always on it. It's great, and that's where the value comes in, the
Well,
mindset and the support.
thank you very much, Sensei. Big up.
Mm-hmm.
Happy New Year when it comes,
Yeah,
and we'll hear more from you, I'm sure.
Big up,
yeah,
Shay.
man,
Best
big
up
up,
every
guys.
time. Respect for the support.
Yeah,
Happy New Year
man.
when it comes.
You too.
All right. Big
Bye
up,
bye.
big up.
Yeah.
All right, bye, Shay. All right. We're just I think two or three more people. I know I see Diane and I want to ask Diane, but Diane always come with a whole heap of points. So I'm gonna ask Ricardo first. Rick.
Oh, hey guys.
Evening.
Evening, boss. Also.
I mean, I think I might have just both pressed the mic, but I did have a question about the IPO opening day and how wild it is at times. Like you can hardly buy anything on the first day anyway.
Or the
By
first
the
week.
time, yeah, by the time you look, some crazy person go trade this stock at 30% above what.
Why you say that person is
It's
crazy?
crazy.
Well, I was just saying they're
That's so
crazy.
crazy to me.
They basically, yeah, we know what they're going for already. So,
I don't know what they're going for. Tell me.
um, well, yeah, it's just about getting that price boosted up um, quicker than you expect.
I don't think that's quite true,
You don't
Exactly.
think
And it's
it's a
funny. You,
hundred
you say
percent
you say it
accurate?
happens, but it sounds like you expect it. So it's not bigger than you expect. You expect it. No?
You expect, yes, yes.
So
After a few goals, yeah, you
Yeah,
expect it.
it's not crazy either. It's not
not
crazy. I
at
don't say
all.
boosting it up there. If you don't get, I hear people talking. Let's say you get maybe 10 to 20% of the amount of shares you wanted in the IPO. If you want to buy this company and you truly believe the company has a lot of worth, and you have actually you actually have set goals, proper goals, and you want to buy it and you get 10% of what you wanted to buy in the IPO, day one is the first chance for you to buy it again. Now, if you're buying it 30% higher than the IPO, I don't know if you're crazy because you're not comparing it to the past price. All right, the price that's important is the price that you want to sell it at. I give you an example. I bought lab shares at 30% higher, close to the IPO date. It IPO'd at $1 2 years ago, and I bought at 130. Does buying lab at 130 seem crazy now at the end of 2021, where the share price is 384?
Yeah, definitely.
You wouldn't say it's crazy for me to have done. You wouldn't say it's crazy for me to have gotten 295% growth on my stock.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, man. So you have to think about it. Yeah, man. I said, Fesco is 80 cents. I say it all the time. The person on the other side of the trade is not dumb. Yeah, man. They're just like you. They just have a different plan.
And maybe they just got more before the IPO open. More meaning, I was thinking about QWI and what actually happened in the first week of opening. And I mean, it's obvious that for all of us who bought it at $41, we could never be selling down stock unless we actually own some shares by way of directorship or something. So I was kind of just looking at that. I mean, if you bought this stock if you bought the IPO at $41, I'm trying to remember if it was open for that, right? You could never be selling it for lower than that in the first week.
Why not?
Why not?
Why? The question is why?
Because maybe if a person, something has changed. I sold my QWI shares very early in the game, and I didn't have any directorship or any such thing.
And well, if you don't mind, would you have sold it at a loss?
I don't mind. I'll tell you. Of course, I sold it at a loss.
Early. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
People do it all the
Is
time.
it? Think about it.
Well, it's interesting because I know, like, well, I see a man like you, Randy, would not buy a company that you didn't find value in, not because it's an IPO. You had bought it because of some value, which meant that whether it popped or not, it would have been good holding it just the same.
I think we think of the market completely differently. I bought because I expect a certain level of. I buy because I expect something to hit my goal. If for any reason I don't think it's gonna hit my goal, I'm out.
Okay, noted.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, I've sold QWI at a loss. Wasn't crazy to do it. Think about it. If I tell you I sold QWI at $1.18, right? It IPO at $1.35. Let's say it IPO at $1.35 and I sold it at $1.18. I am selling it at roughly 13% loss. That's crazy. That's pretty much what you're saying, right?
No, definitely not. I was just saying for people selling it down in the first week.
But I'm telling you, I did that, and I gave you an example. Sold it for $1.18
in the first week.
Yeah, man.
Okay, interesting. So I guess you expected something that didn't happen, and then you just for you, your target was not met.
What I thought was going. Let me tell you. Let me remove the doubt. I pay attention to anything I put my money into. So when I realized, I thought, because I can't read the future. I'm really good at math, but I can't read the future. When I thought that what I'm looking at here, I'm thinking, yo, it's going to fall. I started to jump out. Now, $1.18, you would say it's crazy. In the first week, you're going to sell so quickly. You're going to sell at a loss. But selling at $1.18 does not seem crazy today, does it?
No, because I think I
because the share price is 87 cents.
Yeah, probably exited at 90 cents. So yeah, I took a loss as well.
So it wasn't crazy. So
Yeah,
yeah, you would have lost less money if you came out when I came out.
which is true.
Those
Yeah.
first week
Which
guys are the
yes.
ones with the least loss.
Yeah, man. So don't knock that. Don't think that the market becomes a whole lot better when you stop thinking that people doing something that you wouldn't do are dumb or crazy or rushing something or running for big profits or short term. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but everybody makes the decision that they think is the best in the moment for them. And for some people, that's actually a great decision, but the action that they take looks crazy. To anybody, anything can look crazy. We spoke earlier about Mayberry selling carb
Gumbo.
cement.
Oh yes.
No,
Or
carb
Spur
cement.
3.
In 3 days, them selling so much carb cement, literally 50% below where it was trading quite comfortably on the market. Would you say that the guys at Mayberry were crazy? No, I wouldn't. At least I would say they are paying attention to a different thing than you are, but you are only seeing the action, not the cause of the action.
Not the decision making
Yeah, man.
process. Yes.
I look
Yeah,
at
man.
the same Spur 3 argument. Our own founding member leaving. You don't know why he sold. He can't make
Yeah,
a decision on it based on that.
yeah. You have to make it on the things they have available to you, and know that there are just some things that aren't available to you. But big up, please. Thank you for joining. If it's even accidental, and I hope you get even a little nugget of wisdom out of it.
Yeah, and respect for the spaces that you started this year. Now I've been on a number of them, and definitely they have been worth it. So respect to you and the crew. Um,
No,
yeah, big
no
up.
problem. Our
Very
pleasure.
much.
Big up. Happy New Year when it comes.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Cool.
man.
All right, Shay, I see you have your hand up, so I'll jump back to you, and then Thumb sings. Shay,
Getting someone is saying no audio
Yeah, I'm here.
on YouTube.
Oh,
are they? I don't think so. Sorry, go ahead, Shay. You had another question? I see you had your hand up.
yeah, it's not a question. It's just there is a certain level of flexibility that investing successfully requires, and you guys touch on this fairly often. Just the whole idea that I can change my mind. It's okay. I can change
Yes.
my mind, and if you are not open, if you're not willing to change your mind, you're going to lose money, a lot of money. I mean, if you're selling at 10% loss, does not matter if you're selling to gain 40%. It doesn't matter in the end. So it's probably cultural. I don't know, but we have this thing about changing our mind. That's we look at it in a negative way, and I think that it's. I know it's difficult for a lot of people. It's certainly not a thing that many people are good at, just changing your mind. But if you get new information that says, you know what, you can only make decisions based on the information you have, right? So if you have information that changes your view, it's okay. It's okay to change your mind about anything, about any stock, about any company. You can change your mind.
About anything
Yeah,
at all. Yeah, man.
yeah,
Shay, somebody who can't change their mind is somebody who can grow.
yeah. You
Yeah.
have to be able to change your mind, and
Yeah.
that was one of the lessons that I had to learn early. You have to change your mind if you get information that says that your previous decision or your previous view was inaccurate. So
Yep.
we have to get to a place where you're okay with, I was wrong. I was wrong about this. I was wrong about how it was going to go, and change your mind and get your money. You have to be comfortable changing your mind. It feels uncomfortable at first because of how it's looked upon in our culture, maybe. But you have to be
I don't
able
think
to
it's only
change your mind.
cultural.
I don't know.
I found a lot of the just other people in the investment space
Mm-hmm.
think of that idea in that way. Like you must stick with it through all bad times. You must stick with the stock no matter. And often there's some Warren Buffett quote thrown at you
It's
or
fine. I
something like
mean,
that.
if that works for you, then
That's a new, but you can't read till some.
it's
You're there for
okay
your
if it
money.
works for
You're
you.
not there
I'm
for
not,
thing.
yeah,
Exactly.
I'm
People
not
treat it
trying
like
to
a thing.
change anyone. I'm just saying it's okay. I mean, it works.
No, I'm trying to change
Same
someone.
with
I'm trying to
you're an
change someone.
advisor, so you can go.
Them
Thank
treat it.
you
Them
for the
treat.
second. So go through that. I go through.
Them treat it like a thing that anybody like they're shaming the game like it's an X and you wanna left.
I know,
Because she
right?
gave bone and everybody know, and then know you get in the back with there, everybody has a John no star, and they read the back with the girl. There. It no work so. Nobody don't know say going back at ECL.
I'm sure you said it definitely don't work. So, but
Yeah, I
thank you,
just
thank you.
you're on this bandwagon because I'm like, yes, I'm going to jump on it.
Yeah, man, it's a
Good.
wagonist thing, man. You're
Same
here for
so.
the money, not for the love of the stock. Thank you again, Shay. And
Yeah,
Tom
man.
sings, and then Sir Diane.
Hi, good evening.
Evening, Tom sings. Am I saying that
Great.
correctly, by the way?
Pardon me?
Your username. Am I saying what is it supposed to be?
Oh, good
That is
evening.
correct. That is correct. It's just a mixture. Well, I thank you
Okay.
guys for opening up these spaces. It's quite a nice space. People can just come and discuss financial issues. I love it. When I was back in Jamaica, I used to do a lot of stock buying and so on. Now that I'm not there, you guys keep the conversations going, and I think it's great. Um, I'd like to say thank you too for this my my money JA. I think it's a great site. It's one of the best things that have ever happened to financials in a while. I'm not yet a paid customer, but I plan to pay pretty soon because I like it very much. Great.
You're
Um,
you're you're welcome.
right. As I tweeted earlier, um,
Hmm.
because I do have this concern where companies posting huge profits and yet they pay such little dividends. Like I know that you have to make profits, before you can pay dividends. But I am concerned when they'll be posting huge profit year over year, year after year, and all they pay is 1%. Like I'm not buying shares for 10, 20, $30 or even more than $100 in some cases to get
Hmm.
1%. Like I am not joining that at all. I disagree with that so much. Let us look at this example. If you buy into careers, right, they
As
pay
in,
you
okay.
10%. Really, most times you get 10% on your money, and
Hmm.
you buy into like a cement company. You hold those shares like for a number of years. They don't give you a cent, right? Something happened, and then you just
Mm.
lose all your money. I prefer to be getting a little dividends over the years, to
Hmm.
compensate for the price if it's not appreciating over the years. I don't want to
Hmm.
be waiting until something happens. Then all of a sudden, you lose all your money or nearly all your money. Um,
Mm.
in the case of Cygnus, well, I bought into Cygnus. I am a strong believer in Cygnus, but I really do think that they can pay a little more dividends, um, so that they can entice, investors to come and buy the share and keep the share price going. Like I don't want to be giving what I don't know. Well, I bought early, so maybe I have a better dividends paying now than most people. But for sure, like if you're making so much money, you're boasting on like your profit year after year, you should be able to pay investors a little more on their money than just two and 1% per annum. Like nobody wants that. That's like silver you're picking up. Like I don't want to be picking up silver off the ground. Believe me, I'm not into that.
All right, well, hold on. I think I like what you're saying, but I think we have to be fair in those cases. All right.
Okay.
I think maybe what's happening to you here, like you mentioned, getting 10% on Carreras, which immediately tells me that that you've been buying careers for many, many years.
I have been buying careers for many, many years, and
I
you,
can
you,
tell.
you. But look at it this way: if you bought careers 10 years ago, you would have
Mm-hmm.
more than doubled your money, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and if you buy, let us say, the cement company 10 years ago, you have not gotten anything at all. You know, I'm not for just holding this stock for year over year and not receiving anything. Like, I'm not for that at all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I don't
Um,
understand it as much, but for sure, I would like to be given something for my money because you invest so much money. Let us say you invest $1 million, and
mm-hmm.
over 10 years you've gotten nothing. If you invested $1 million, in some other companies, even Trans Jamaica now will give you 7%.
Ooh, okay. So I think what I would tell you, and we don't have the time to go too deep into it. I tell you, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you have a bit of noise, but you might want to do like a grow. I think it's just
Yeah,
that you have been investing over years, and you have
I
a
have been.
yeah, and so you have a good yield. You have your price is so low that your dividend yield is a lot better than everybody else. The reality
Mm-hmm.
is that anybody buying Carreras maybe over the last year or so, maybe let's say post the stock split, they did a stock split in 2018 at 10-1, which is why you'd have
Mm-hmm.
had such a good bit of money there.
Mm-hmm.
But the current yields on their dividends, they have some of the best dividend yields. They pay a dividend every quarter, and 2.61% based on current prices, 3.1%, 1.99, 2%, and 2.61%. That's
Mm-hmm.
this year alone in terms of the dividend yield.
Yeah,
To Cygnus's credit, Troy
yeah.
will like this since we're on Cygnus's side here. Cygnus has similar dividend yields, and Cygnus just started 1.5% yield and 2.69% yield again at
Mm-hmm.
current prices.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it's just maybe an understanding of what the basis that these dividends are paid out on are. Remember, it's not oftentimes officially not a percentage of the share price that they think about when they're doing it. It's a percentage of previous
Of the
profits.
profit. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that also
Sure.
has the limitations of the cash that they have and the plans going forward. And dividends, I think, are great for the investor who's truly
Mm-hmm.
thinking about either
Yeah.
aggressive dividend investing or true multi-year 10, 15-year strategy, in which case dividends become very, very, very great, right? And I
Yeah, for
always
sure,
talk
for
about
sure.
two cases. Regular investors, if you bought JC, Jamaica Stock Exchange, if you bought their stock 8 years ago,
Yeah.
and if you were dollar cost averaging it, so every month you're buying a set amount, no matter the
Mm-hmm.
price, you would have gotten more in dividends than you have put into the company.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, that's one
If
of the few cases that,
yeah,
let's say, if you put in, let's
I
say,
did
over the. Sorry, go ahead.
I did buy some, but I sold it afterwards. I wasn't pleased at all. Maybe I got in too late at that price.
Talk to
Um,
Dana if you
w-
want to know what the exact thing that you should have done is. But what I will say,
that was
what I
years
will
ago, though.
say what I will say is you have to look at each individual company on its own merit. In the case of Carib Cement, however,
Mm-hmm.
they have not paid
Yeah,
a dividend in maybe 16 years, and there are
yeah.
reasons around it why they haven't paid it. At one point, the company just wasn't good.
Yes,
At
yes,
another
yes.
point, the
They
company
were
was
on him.
better,
Right.
but the people who helped it to get better were pretty much getting themselves repaid on that. And now I think
Mm-hmm.
they're officially at the point where they can pay a dividend, and they have made appreciative noises in the direction of paying a dividend, I would say. I don't think they're serious about it. I do think they'll eventually pay a dividend, if only because I think their majority shareholder needs the cash flow. But I don't think they have any real rush on it. So I'm not knocking your point. I like your point,
Yeah,
but I want
yeah.
us to be fair in our criticism of some of the companies. Because Cygnus really does pay, in the world of dividends, a strong dividend.
Well, that is true. Well, that is true.
Yeah, man.
And but I do think that there is to be a balance between you wanting to grow your company and paying a little dividends to the people who actually gave you that money to build the company in the first place. If you're going to be growing the company 5, 10 years, depending on how much you're making too, for sure you're
Mm-hmm.
making a profit. You can pay something over the years because
Mm-hmm.
because somebody made an interesting point a few moments ago where
Mm-hmm.
they were looking at Cygnus and they were saying that the price could be there for a number of years or, however long. Then something happens, whatever happened, you don't know, something happens. And then all of a sudden, the share price is gone to north. Well, it's gone south. So what happens then? You have sacrificed many years waiting for this company to build, and waiting for them to pay you some dividends. And all of a sudden something happens and well, the most I can say is that you're gone into the red.
The idea, though, you said they should strike a balance. The thing is that 1% is a balance. It's
beautiful.
It's just not exactly what you'd want to see. I would say at
That is
that
true.
point,
Okay.
you should exercise choice. You decide, is this dividend what you're getting?
Mm-hmm.
Is it one will it
Worth it
change?
for you.
Are you going to wait around for a better dividend, or are you going to go to somewhere else where you get the dividend that you want? So yeah. If the
And
company is
fair.
doing what you
and
want
so-
it to do,
Yeah.
company, you're invested in the company. Company is doing what you want it to do, and you can't change that. If you can get up and go on the board and say, "Here, what dividend you go up," if you can't make that decision, then then exercise options available to you.
And that is true.
It's a simple truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you can see, thank you for that, Tom Sings. Happy New Year when it comes.
You
And
too. Have a very happy new year.
you,
And to all your listeners.
Yes, of course. And I think what you just pointed out, highlighted really that's really the thing at the root of you hearing me saying things like I don't really care about dividends, and that's why you've earlier in the call you'd have heard we pointed out CPJ 500% gain in this year, right? And I've been buying CPJ from early in the year. And
I must say that I've missed CPJ. I did buy into it. I sold it. Not well, I didn't lose. I sold it right about where I bought it. I've certainly lost out on that. I could have made a ton, but that's okay. That's how it goes.
Yeah, it's never too late. There's always more to come, we always say. But yeah, when you can make those sort of gains in terms of cap gains, the dividends, even a good dividend doesn't make any sense to somebody like me, right? But
that is true. That is true. That is true.
Different show for different folks because Leach
That is
bought
true. That is true.
NCB for less than $10 per share. And now the dividends from NCB, when they do pay dividends, are very close to a huge fraction of what he paid initially for the company. So there is value there for the person who wants to hold it for multiple years, over 10 years, over 15 years.
That is true. Yeah. I can attest to that. When I was back in Jamaica as a teacher, I went down to the Teachers Credit Union, and back then we could get a loan the same day. And I took a loan of $250,000 at the time. I just went and bought into Kingston Wolves. That has been my biggest return since I've been investing. Because I sold it way up in the 80s, way up. That was a nice gain. So I understand. I understand what you say about dividends not being the priority at this time. But
what a story.
You do have to strike a balance between dividends and appreciation and growing the company, I believe. But we'll see how 2022 goes. I'll be listening to you guys for sure.
No problem. Thank you very much. Happy New Year when it comes.
Happy New Year to you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right. One last what I said. Sir Diane, or is he still here? Or Diane left? Wow. All right. Well, Sir Ling, I'll give you the last guest talk then, since you sent another speaking request. You get the chance to ask us the last question before we call it a night and a year. Oh, well, I'm not hearing anything, so I guess it was a mistake. All right, Sir Diane, you get the chance instead. Yeah, Dan, just unmute.
Yeah, good night. That was a beautiful story a while ago.
Yeah, man.
I hear those kinds of stories. I'm not sure if Troy is still on the call, but he was asking about measuring the gains of the portfolio over a period of time. And when he was saying it, I remember that you can actually hover over the line graph for your portfolio on my Jamaica for a particular date, and it will show you the portfolio value at that date. And
yes,
and basically from there to the current, you can also see what the change has been. So he could use that
Correct.
to check over a particular period.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? It's just really me. If I wanted to, I was going to say it, but then I usually like to say it and show it. And I know I have some player-owned portfolios in my money JA. And if I show a player-owned portfolio, people immediately take that as my portfolio. So I just try not to do it. And sometimes I have a lot of test portfolios.
Yeah.
And I try not to do it as a result of that. But what you're saying is right. I'll show people it here. Something that we did from a portfolio at one of my advanced growers here. What Dan is talking about is this point. So like if this portfolio, you want to see what it was worth August 11, 406,000. And it is currently worth 999. Sorry, it's currently worth 1.27 million. And you can see that here. So Troy, and anybody else, that's an early little thing you can look at. If you want to have an idea of how the mix of your portfolio is, you can see there also. Loads of things you can do with your portfolio, right? I can't go too deep into it, but go and sign up, free account, and if you think it's valuable to you, pay for it, and I can tell you it is valuable to you. Get the premium account. It is specifically built towards people at the premium account. You get the full feature list. It is worth it. But thank you for that, Dan. That's what you had in mind.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to say.
That's.
Well, what's your favorite? What was your favorite stock? Well, ask you. The thing we haven't asked anybody else. What stock are you most excited about for 2022?
Well, I would say two of my favorites. Well, what I'm focused on mostly is jam teas for early 2022, and then
okay.
For the last half of the year, my aim is on the other cement company.
Other cement company. All right. You want to tell the people that one is? I don't want to, but if you want to, you can.
No, I just leave it there. At least
I think we've said it enough for people to know.
Yeah.
Well, it's something for people to look up. Thank you very, very much, sir, Dan. Happy New Year to you when it come.
Yeah, Dan. Bless up every time.
Yeah, man. Same to you too, Dan. Thanks.
All right. And to everybody who came on, listened either at this point or earlier in the year or to when we've done our earnings season or anything we've done or come to grow or use one of the links or even just retweet that tweet or whatever. Thank you very, very much. Happy New Year to you when it comes. I hope the year is really, really good to you. I hope it's profitable. I hope we can get all we want. Stay safe. Of course, Danhai, thank you for doing this with me throughout the year. And of course, and also on your New Year's Eve, taking a good chunk out of your evening to talk to me and the people.
Indeed, bro. Bless
Thank
up.
you very, very much for that.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. You got everything you want to tell the people. It's fine. And after that, I will tell everybody good night, Happy New Year, and see you next year.
All right, people. Happy New Year. Bless up on the Christmas gone. Hope everybody had a good holiday and a good 2021 despite everything that happened this year. And bless up for 2022 and all the gains and everything good that can come in the year to come.
Yeah, man. Please. I'm seconding that. Start investing if you haven't already. It is for you. You do not have too little money. You don't need to save and then start. You can start by the saving can be put. Don't save, actually. Don't save. That's a waste of your money. Save by investing. And if you want to get some more skill, you can come under the grower class, everymickle.com/grower. That's GRWR. You don't want to learn to do it yourself, you can't bother. You can link Danhai at thehalladvisor.com and he will do it for you because he is a licensed investment advisor. And regardless which one of those two you choose, go to mymoneyja.com and sign up for an account and check it out.